Hello, everybody! Welcome to another fashionably late session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
At least we are fashionable while we're here.
That's right. Welcome, everybody. Hello there in the chat to session 9 of our chaotic Feywild story. You might have noticed we're all wearing particularly dark colors today. Celebration of February
Tuesday.
2nd,
Actual
Tuesday, TWO, all caps, Tuesday, the second month, the 22nd day of 2022. Woo!
Oh my gosh!
So we all decided to look like B-level Matrix characters.
B-level.
B-level, the best level.
Yes.
But yes, hello everyone out there in the Twitch chat. So great to see you. Apologize again for a little bit late, but let's just say like 5 p.m. PST is kind of like, it's guidelines. Like
It's
we may
tentative.
start there, but start gathering around that time, and we'll be there eventually. We got to get the anticipation. The anticipation for this session, everyone, is palpable. We had to just get every ounce of drama out of it.
We could die this week.
That's just a running theme for this every fucking time. But we won't take up any more of your time. We'll quickly go through a little rigmarole here of, you know them, you love them. It's a Dicecream sponsors, everybody. We've got our lovely C4 Labs dice trays, awesome supporter of the show. Kind enough to set some awesome hexagon dice to our players. And very soon, very, very soon, all of our Dicecream dice trays are going to be available for purchase very, very soon. We're so excited about that. We've been working on this collection for a long time, so we cannot wait to get that into your hands soon and do another fun giveaway that's coming up very soon as well. So check out C4 Labs online. They've got so many fucking good things. And of course, we got our dice sponsors. You know them, you love them as well. It's the Crit Kit, people, everybody. Critical Kit, awesome UK dice suppliers over there in Europe, which, by the way, I will be trying to visit while I'm in Europe at the end of March, but we'll talk about that in a second. Crit Kit, of course, now has a North American shop. They've got a North American dealer to be able to get to the dice even quicker than before. So for those who live in the US, it won't take you, months or weeks or anything like that with all this COVID business still going on. You'll get those dice even quicker. And of course, use promo code Dicecream15 at checkout and get 15% off your first purchase. Amazing sets. They've got all different kinds, big hard edge dice to your Chessex looking kind, and even Witcher-themed dice, which are super fun and cool and come with commemorative coins. So go check them out. Critkit.us, I believe, is the US site. Get on their mailing list, and they'll tell you when all of your best sets come into stock. So thank you, C4 Labs. Thank you, Crit Kit. And of course, I have to mention this because you all have probably been seeing the promo videos popping up on your feeds because they so fresh. D&D to Castle, everybody. It's coming. It's coming real quick. We are officially just about close to a month out before not only myself, but also Quincy's Tavern, Jackie, Elena Chan, the very cast, half the cast of Witchlight will be there. And of course, Shay's Aiden, another great friend of the channel, will also be attending our table at D&D and a Castle, everybody. We are so fucking excited to be attending. This is an amazing opportunity, and I hope that it opens up the door for more TikTok creators who love D&D TikTok creators in general, to be able to get involved with them and experience this amazing event and help to tell more people about it, because it is freaking phenomenal. So if you are interested and you have the funds and you're able to do so, you're looking to spend a little bit of money on a great vacation for yourself, check out the link in our bio, D&D in a Castle. There's about 2 or 3 seats left, and you'll be able to play in a game with Quincy, Jackie, Aiden, and myself, DMing, along with spending 3 nights at a castle, doing ballroom parties, fucking archery, hanging out with B.D. Walters, Ginny D, Mark Meir, and all kinds of fucking famous DMs. So once again, everyone, check out the link in the bio, and hopefully we'll see you there at the end of March. Ba-bam! All right. So with all that out of the way, we like to kick off every session here on Wild Beyond the Witchlight with an amazing, carefully sculpted carefully sculpted and edited piece of film entertainment for you, made by the wonderful Jackie Elena Chan, as a recap of what happened on our last session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So,
We're gonna need it.
without further ado, Jody Rose, if you would please roll the footage.
Last time on Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
We thought Sybilla was in the swamp, not in the vicinity. So when when you told us that she's in the fog, we don't want to be here. and I come bursting out of the prison.
What are you doing waiting? Go after her!
Milady, where is it? Is it around? Where did it go? And just like runs after you to make sure you're okay. I need you to roll initiative as a merfolk starts to grab you and pull you down into the depths of the swamp water.
Gods, we need help at once. The princess is in danger.
And looks out and sees Moss running away and the two massive creatures over on the side. And just sighs. He's like, it never ends.
Well, that's odd.
Anything you worry about? Are your friends in trouble?
No, it's just a Tuesday. They're fine. For this, I will be like, as I'm behind them, and like, poof, push them out of the edge.
What are you two doing just standing here? There's two merfolk and I'm bleeding into my dress. Get more help.
He just murdered the shop owner! Come inside, friend. You don't want to be out here with all this cacophony.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Bye, guys.
You are currently charmed by this bullywug knight.
I'm unconscious.
Oh yeah. Oh no! Don't even roll damage. I'm down.
This could have gone so much better.
Looks like the king wants to see you. What are we going to do with you now?
I wanna pull it down, and I wanna cast Firebolt on the clothes of Snoodle.
No. So you're all caught up on the wild shenanigans that this group got up to last session, which included trying to explode successfully, eventually killing shopkeepers, trying to steal a storm-infused weather balloon, failing miserably as all of the descendants of the Bullywug Kingdom fell upon you, jailed you, got you right front-faced with King Gullop themselves. And this is where we currently find ourselves today as we dive into tonight's session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
It was literally a thundercloud. You don't expect us to go after it.
So, after the extremely failed attempt at trying to ascertain this very particular special weather balloon, that instead of gas encased in sort of leather patchworks of a balloon, was a literal thunderstorm encased as the balloon. Quincy tried their best to steal this for you to continue on your path to release Zybilna from the clutches of the Hourglass Coven. As you know, that Bavlorna, one of the head members of the Hourglass Coven, is nearby in Downfall where you currently are. Looking to get some sort of straight routes, you went and tried to ascertain the storm weather balloon, but it went horribly. Quincy did not execute the shop owners nearly quick enough before they rang the bell. They alerted all the guards, and all the Bullywug Knights descended upon you. One of them eventually was able to charm Lucifer into quietly laying down their arms and self-imposing themselves into prison while the rest of the guards got on top of you. And unfortunately, it was just a numbers game, and there was nothing to be done. Eventually, you were all knocked out, awoke in the prison with a Lucifer looming over you, kind of bewildered, not really sure what had happened there. But eventually, as you were trying to figure out your next move, you were granted an audience with King Gullop the 19th, the current sovereign of the Soggy Court, this desolate swampland that you're currently in, that Gullop and his entire court of bullywugs reside in. You were taken to King Gullop, in this sort of domed gazebo with a few bullywug knights at their side, and King Gullop in this array of royal threads with a giant sort of hat with a daisy on top, big billowing threads with big puffy shoulder pieces and billowing sleeves and leg pieces, addressed you with his faithful pet crocodile Snoodle, trying to figure out what exactly they want to do with you. King Gullop mentioned a few things. They were reading this particular book called The Bad Book of Blood that had to do with the history of Bavlorna and their very deadly dealings with most people in the land of the Feywild. And they were trying to find up ways to make up for the atrocities that you've done, murdering shopkeepers, trying to steal personal property. And a few words were exchanged back and forth about how they could maybe squash this beef. And one of them was dealing with a marrow problem that they had. And of course, you fought some of these marrow before the plan went all to shit. There is a colony of marrow living deep within the swamp waters that are kind of, let's say, not too happy that the bullywugs have chosen to give allegiance to Bavlorna and the Hourglass Coven. And fight the bullywug every now and again, obviously ruffle against their rule. And a pair of them actually tried to capture and eat one of you, that being Jackie over there with Moss. So with this problem still brewing, the king, very much not really trusting you, tried to propose a deal. Usually to settle disputes, they have this fighting arena that they like to pit people against each other to settle disputes. And they currently have the Marrow tribe leader of sorts, a shadow priest that leads their coven of Marrow here. They have them imprisoned, and they would like to put on a show of good faith for the loyal subjects of the Bullywug court, of the Soggy court, to have one of you, or possibly all of you, fight and execute the leader of the Marrow and and his faithful lieutenants in a show of good faith for the realm, for the kingdom, and to show that everything is fine and nobody should oppose King Gullop, his court, or Bavlorna anytime soon. And as this deal was being made, with Ebby kind of taking center stage and using their very calm, diplomatic approach to solving these issues, suddenly smoke started to rise behind you as a candle that had been fucking somehow expertly placed, with me rolling a lot of ones and Quincy rolling fucking high as shit, carefully placed a candle under a nearby wooden building that had apparently taken fire, had been lit, and the smoke was rising up in the soggy court that you could see from the gazebo outside. And all of a sudden, people are shouting, "Fire! Fire! There's a fire! One of the buildings on fire!" And half of the Bullywug Knights ran out of the gazebo. And with all the commotion, all the confusion, tensions were high and instincts started to kick in. And for whatever reason, Quincy thought this would be an opportune time, with all of you, no weapons in hand, as you saw a pile of weapons of your own personal effects next to the throne of King Gullop, decided to take out their hand and firebolt the pet crocodile. This is, of course, where we last ended our session. So, with all that in mind, kicking off tonight's session of Witchlight, Quincy kind of nervously looking around the room, seeing a few less Bullywug Knights in the woods, these thoughts start racing through your head, Quincy. We can take him. You're bloodied, you're beaten, you haven't had a rest, you are still freshly sort of bruised from the battle you had with the Knights. The blood still dried on your face and the scars from the Knights' hits, but you think, we can take him, we can do this. And all of a sudden, you kind of lock eyes with Moss, that's just sort of standing there, hands kind of affixed to their body, not trying to stir any trouble. You both give each other this nervous look, and Moss is just like, And all of a sudden, Quincy, your hand is just about to go out for that firebolt. What would you guys like to do?
I see Quincy pulling down the thing covering his mouth in order to cast a firebolt through these shackles. And Moss, I just wave my hands in, like slam down on his to try and make the attack miss.
Okay. Quincy, as Moss rages over to you, like, no! Does a two-hander to smack the firebolt spell down, so your hand kind of misses the target. Roll me an attack at disadvantage.
Sure. All right, that's an 11 to hit.
Miss.
Thank God.
So as the firebolt, you go up, and Moss, you're hitting down, so the firebolt just hits against the ground of the stone marble gazebo floor, and a big bang kind of bellows out into the air. It's kind of muffled by the roaring fire and a lot of the loyal servants kind of rushing over to the building to put out the flames. But King Gullop and the knights behind him clearly see a boom, an assassination attempt possibly happen in front of their eyes, as King Gullop like, what the bloody hell was that?
I take out my mouth guard. I'm just like, obviously, as you can see, we are rather rearing to go fight on your behalf against the Marrow King. My apologies.
Can't handle your flame there, can you, little one? Looks over to Quincy.
Can I put my paws on his mouth? He's actually quite powerful, and it's hard for him to control such power. It'd be a great show.
Roll me deception.
Could it be persuasion? Okay, no, it's fine. Deception. We're fine. Oh, that was good. Okay, 21.
Okay. King Gullop, you say this. King Gullop looks at you. Really?
He starts nodding behind because he's also.
Abby's just too stunned to speak.
That's right, because some of you were shouting out things and they eventually put a gag.
You muzzled all of us.
You wouldn't shut up in front of the king, and the servants don't do anything about it. So King Gullop starts to be intrigued, like, really? Unbridled power, you say? How else does this form manifest itself?
I'm gonna kind of take down Moss's paws and be like, it's actually quite simple, Your Majesty. I can teach you all you need to know if you give me back my bag. Though I will warn you that if you keep it, it might explode next to you.
Quite a tinkerer, this one.
Lucifer reaches up, grabs his muzzle, pulls him down too, and says, there's actually a few things that we can teach you all if you just allowed us to have our things back.
Oh, so he does speak.
Moss once again looks between.
Just looking at me.
Not now, guys.
The king kind of puts down Snoodle to the side, and it kind of scuttles off to the side of the throne room. You'll get your things in good time, my friends. You'll earn them tonight as we show our might and display for bearing down those marrow folk where they lie. I assume this is still what you want to do. Oh, sorry, Jens.
I do like a good fight. I don't quite like the water, so.
Oh, no worries, my friend. This will not take place in the water. A little bit of a final jab at the marrows, so to speak, for them going against the soggy court.
I was about to ask, what is the political warfare between you and the Marrow?
Oh, well, it's not much to go on about, really. They enjoyed their freedom while Sibilna was in charge, and when Bavlona and the Hourglass Coven took over and put down new laws in place and deemed that the Soggy Court was our space to rule in her stead, the Marrow had a little bit of, how do we say, discouragement against that line of thinking and haven't quite been put in their place yet. But now with our newfound understanding, it seems that we will be able to do that tenfold.
May I make a suggestion, Your Honor?
Depends on the suggestion.
We've already agreed to fight the chieftain. However, wouldn't it be more impressive that your leader, Bavlona, lost the trust and interest of the Marrow, and you diplomatically gained it back? Possibly we could be your ambassadors to talk to this almighty chieftain. If things go wrong, we're sacrificed. You're not harmed. But if we succeed, you become aligned with a new ally, and Bavlona gets another army.
So your new suggestion is that you go over to the Shadow Priest that we have imprisoned and try to negotiate some type of treaty?
I don't know what restraints you have here in the Soggy Court. Perhaps as a generous leader, different from your the previous leaders.
Predecessors.
That amazing word, yes. You could show more empathy and they would better align with you. Maybe not Bavlorna, you might actually gain more power than her eventually. But who's to say?
And then you could rub it in the faces of all those, predecessors on those sticks. I'm sure they would love that.
So you want to try to do things the easy way, huh?
I don't know if diplomacy is ever easy, but...
Oh, so you're not very good at it?
We can be
Are
very
you?
persuasive.
Abby's head just drops. No?
Jackie, try to make a persuasion check to see if you can diplomatically sway the king's mind.
That's an 18. 14 plus 4.
So you want to have a little meeting with our imprisoned Shadow Priest. Diplomatically make him bend the knee to old King Golub and swear his sovereignty over to the Soggy Court and Bavlona. Is that what I'm understanding?
I would, yes.
I would, yes.
Say yes.
Tell me.
You're doing great, Jackie. Keep going.
I tell you what. Since you may or may not have just saved old Snoodle's life, kept your friend in check there, I'll give you one chance. Right now, my guards will accompany you to the imprisoned Shadow Priest. I will give you no longer than 10 minutes to alleviate my concern about this Marrow uprising and for him to bend the knee to my will. And it is here, in this very gazebo, where we shall ordain the fighting pits to commence. And as you arrive, and the Marrow arrive, this will be the Marrow's opportunity to show fealty and loyalty in front of all the Soggy Court. Once this happens, we will talk about possible freedom for you. If this does not go well, the fighting will commence, and you and your party members, along with the Marrow, shall be chained at the ankle. Spikes shall be driven in the center of the gazebo, giving you no more than 20 feet of movement, cinching in the inevitable end. For you or the marrow. Either way, I'm happy.
I believe that is the deal. I look around my group.
I nod reluctantly, but yes.
Abby's hyper-focused on a possible exploding bag by the king.
So I'm going to make a check to see if he notices you looking at it. Sort of catches your eye, Abby, as you kind of look over to the sort of piling up of items, weapons that you all had possessed at one point. Don't worry, your effects shall be in the center of the pit for whoever gets there first.
Abby looks at Quincy and just to like try and judge the situation.
Either one way, you'll battle it out, and whoever gets to the items first will have a very strong advantage. Or we shall reward you your things back as a show of good faith for such a benevolent act of kindness on behalf of the Soggy Court.
Benevolent indeed.
Abby leans closer to Quincy like, didn't you say it's gonna explode?
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up, Abby.
Now, I believe the 10 minutes begins now. Knights,
Where to?
accompany them to where we're holding the Shadow Priest and their lieutenants. And the Bullywogs, with their sort of regal armor on, with their very traditional sort of angular metal hats and their sort of bulging chest plates, with their long spears and glaives with feathers coming off of their hats and their helmets and off their glaives, just start to king, sort of smack their breastplates with their armor and start walking over towards you.
Lucifer leans over to Abby and says in Abyssal, should we try to strike a deal with this prisoner?
Abby breaks out of his little focus on the box and looks over at forgetting everyone's name today. Oh my gosh. Forgetting Lucy's going over to Lucy and agrees, nods and says we just have to prepare in case that's a bad choice.
Lucifer says, I think if we can convince him to feign giving up power to the king, that can help things move along and we can come back and help later if need be.
Yes, I agree.
Over there. Mom's like, thank you, Your Highness. Thank you. Try and cover it.
I just want to keep an eye on the bag and make sure no one's gonna like touch it or anything. Just I'm looking between the king and the bag, just back and forth.
Yeah, it seems to just be very much a sort of placed next to them as just sort of a show of force. Nobody is going through it or rifling through it, just like calmly is just piled up right beside them.
Cool. I'll follow Moss, or however we're let out. I'll go, just walk, but kind of just keep looking back.
Okay.
I feel like I'm dragging Quincy by the collar while you're just like staring at the bag.
Yeah, like my feet are placed, just.
I'm just like dragging you. Come on, let's go. There's a plan now.
All right. So as you start to make your way outside the gazebo, there's 3 Bullywug Knights accompanying you. One at your back, one at your front, and one on the side. And if you look over to our handy Roll20 map, sort of the bigger one, it kind of shows you most of what the Sog Court looks like. With the 4 of you kind of here, over in the gazebo, you start to be led out on the side here, and you can see that building is there's flames high in the air. Various bullywug Denzians and servants are coming out with buckets of water from the swamp water. Just like throwing buckets of water, but it's like barely making any difference.
I want to whisper to Moss as we see him, just be like, nice.
Totally.
So as you were all sort of leaving over here, you sort of go back sort of near the way you came, getting close to the holding cells you're at, going past the sort of bullywog makeshift castle that you kind of remember seeing knights pour out of. And that was kind of made out of a giant tree. And then as you start making your way over here, some more of those stones kind of pop up in the water here that you were able to cross from before, that allow you to start making your way over to the south area of the Soggy Court, which you haven't really explored yet. You start to pass by this very large tree over here, and next to the tree seems to be a clothing line of some kind that's kind of coming from the sort of wrapped around the top of the tree and going down into the swamp, kind of angular like this. And the end of the clothing line is kind of hard to see as the mist sort of surrounding the middle of the swamp area. It's kind of hard to see through it. You see various lily pads kind of floating around, the various sounds of, swamp creatures, insects, crickets, frogs, all that stuff. Gets a bit louder and louder as you kind of come around to the side here, and you see 3 chains coming off the edge of the land here, kind of affixed with spikes put in there. And there were 2 bullywug knights sort of guarding these sort of indented chains leading into the swamp water. And as the bullywug knight kind of comes up to the 2 guards, King Gollop wants to see the prisoners handled. These possible members of our Soggy Court are going to negotiate a deal, apparently, with the Marrow. They have, looks up the sky, 8 minutes to do so, and then we'll find their answers in combat later today at the gazebo.
Oh, all right. I guess we just pull it up.
And they look very like, 2 of them, one's a bit shorter than the other. That's kind of like, looks like they haven't filled into their armor yet, and one's a bit ganglier and taller. That like their armor and their clothes are like too small for their body, so a gangly frog-like visage. Not very confident. Looks like they've just been on like guard duty, like watch duty, that kind of stuff that no one really wants to do. And one of them looks at you. Okay. The priest is particularly feisty. So, might want to point your spears down there. Kind of bit me last time I pulled them up. It's fine. Just get on with it. All right. All right, Grung, you pull on the end there, and I'll pull on the front. All right. And you see these short and tall bullywug just take their amphibious, elongated fingers, wrap them around this sort of rusty chain. As they start to pull it taut, you can see the one chain just start going wild in the swamp water, kind of like a fish that's about to be lined in, just struggling to get free. And 2 of them are like, come on, Grung, keep pulling. Ooh. And they're trying all their heart, and their bullywug feet are like digging into the mush and the dirt, and they're not getting a very good lift on the chain until they kind of sink in their heels. And the 2 of them are starting to pull more chain up, and a pile of it kind of snakes along their feet until the splashing gets a bit more chaotic, until you start to see a figure come out of the water. And the marrow that you saw before, again, we're kind of like creature from the Black Lagoon meets like mermaid sort of combination. You see these fins start to appear out of the water from kind of like a mohawk design on the front, and then some fins off here. They kind of are dark purple at the start, and they fade into a very light blue, aquatic blue coloration that goes all over this Murrow's body. And they're pretty fit. They've got like a fairly athletic build. You see spines coming down their backs, their face kind of angular with lots of tentacle-like threads coming off of their chin and off their side. You see their gills flapping. This one has kind of a set of hard scales and coral kind of climbing down from their clavicle and covering some of their chest. It kind of snakes down along to the side of the rib cage. Some of the coral kind of flakes over here and hardens almost like a made shoulder pad. These elongated fingers with sharp talons start to emerge as the Shadow Priest is like kind of struggling for a minute, resisting as much as they can. You see these sort of seaweed-like wraps and sashes around their chest and around their wrist, with a few like fish bones and various trinkets wrapped around them, signifying sort of their homeland or homeworld. Then you see the bulbous or lower body start to come out of the water itself with more of like those purple faded blue fins jutting out with various spines on the bottom, and then the elongated tail kind of flaps around as the chain is kind of set to manacles to hold their hands together as their tails flipping around. The two bullywugs, this very massive, large, fish-like creature suddenly flops onto the ground and just starts to hiss like a feral animal.
So Lucifer, automatically not wanting to waste time, speaks in Abyssal and does like a slight nod, not one that's like super obvious because he keeps his face up, but he says, "Your lordship, we've heard that you want to free yourself and your people from these creatures. Am I right?"
And this very guttural, passionate sound starts to coming out of the Shadow Priest in Abyssal, talking to you, Lucifer.
These bullywugs, they came into our territory. They tried to imprison us, make them work for us. We are about the land. We will hit first. We will not bow down to them. All the new leadership of the Feywild. This place is better.
And just like is angry and just being very combative.
And Lucifer, to try to match that and not show anything to the bullywugs as if it's anything but what we're talking about, says, "I understand, and we're going to help you get that back, but you must go along with us today."
Looks at the bullywugs, all four of them pointing their spears and their glaives at
They do not know what we're saying. I'm going to lie to them. I'm going to work with us today. And I'm
going to translate. Imagine like I'm translating what Lucifer's saying to the bullywugs.
Yes!
And be like,
okay. So first, with Jennings, Lucifer saying, "We're here to help you get free. You just have to trust us." What does Quincy translate that into for the bullywugs?
He's trying to convince I kind of look at them as like, Lucifer's trying to convince the king here, the priest here, that the only way to true peace is to put down aside differences and something about for the greater good of everyone, irregardless of who's in charge.
You know when someone in a foreign language has a short sentence and then someone's like, "They said this, and they also said this, and they also said this. They actually mentioned it." So I'm going to have you roll deception.
Oh boy. Okay, this is not bad. Deception's not bad for me. Okay, it's a 14.
Okay. They seem to be following along with you, and they're like, okay.
Obviously, it's very spotty. I don't know Abyssal quite as well, but I'm giving you the gist.
Lucifer turns like over his shoulder just to be like, I'm also telling them that there's no reason for them to try to put any kind of force back because you and your great court will overpower them quickly. Now let me get back to this.
Okay, so as you say that, Jennings,
I said that to the bullywugs.
Right, yeah. And as you
Just
kind of
further-
complete that, as you talk to the Shadow Priest and said, like, we're here to talk, but you gotta trust us.
What can you do for us? How are you going to free us from these creatures?
So, I know this is going to go against all of your marrow pride, which I know is very strong and passionate. But today we have to feign you all giving up your power to these bollywogs so that we can get our things back and go get rid of this terrible queen, this terrible rule that has taken your freedom from you.
You're
We're
going
talking about fish sticks now.
And how offensive they are.
That's a little fucked up. They do serve marrow fish sticks, and that's all they call that.
So, Lucy,
Mm.
as the Shadow Priest looks at you,
You're going to challenge the Hourglass Coven.
Yes.
We were not the kindest in Zabilna's rule either. What makes you think that we are able to be free once more? One ruler replaces the next.
We have heard that there are many people that did not have the best of both worlds in any situation, and we are going to make a change for that. I promise you.
and the Marrow just kind of looks at you, looks at the other members of the Soggy Court.
Can you promise us the Soggy Court?
Hmm.
Do you promise that this belongs to the Marrow only?
Oh, I promise you that we will be back to cause some trouble here.
How will this work?
This is where it gets difficult. They're going to ask you to bend a knee to the current king. Please understand that my team and I will understand that what you're doing is not truthful, but to them it will appear so, and it must appear so that we can help you and make our plan come to fruition.
How will you guarantee our safety? If we bend the knee, what's left of them killing us where we stand after you do this?
I do believe that you all have advantage in the water where you all reside, correct?
Yes.
I trust you say in your safe spaces don't come near the land, and we'll be back in time to help you if there comes anything. They can't overpower you in the water, there's no chance. I've seen your fighters, they're incredible. That was out of the water.
We stay quiet, and you will come back and eradicate the king and all of these people in the Soggy Court.
That is a deal, and it is a promise, but I need you to sell what's going to about to happen today in front of the king. You got it? We will bring honor and justice back to the Marrow folk. And everyone who's been negatively affected by these sisters.
Make a persuasion at advantage.
Oh, God. Yes, that advantage, though.
One of them is a 13. Ooh, one of them is an 18. So the 18.
$18, you said?
Mm-hmm.
No.
An 18. Tied. So, the Marrow Shadow Priest looks at you, looks at everyone else.
I kind of want to show up that like we're tied to, like we're in chains, like we're not.
Yeah, because I saw him as well. The whole time talking.
We're still at the mercy of the Soggy Court too. Like we're not here to pull one over.
You can promise their untimely demise. We will honor that agreement.
I see Lucy nodding. I'm nodding with him.
Time to see your best acting chops.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness.
Matrix got changed!
Oh okay. This is gonna take me a bit. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
That was kind of funny. Oh no!
Okay. Jody Rose will rearrange the cameras promptly. But yeah, so you say that after doing that very impassionate sort of speech, pretty much Garrett like promising the eradication of everyone in the Soggy Court for their compliance seems to be going along hesitantly, but just barely seems to be agreeing with
And Lucifer, before he turns to the Bollywog, he says, these chains are a sign of our attestment to our dislike for the Soggy Court, and we will not stop until they have fully been reckoned with. For us and for you.
We're talking about future courts and kingdoms of the Bullywog and the kingdoms coming together.
Could I turn to the bullywogs that are with us and ask what exactly they want to do with the chieftain and their highly likely new alliance? What will happen to these people?
So sorry, you're asking the Bullywug Knights what will happen to the Marrow if they swear fealty?
Correct.
So as Lucifer's having this conversation with this Marrow, you ask this of the Knights.
I don't know. That's for King Gollum to decide.
I would think them to be great bodyguards since they are in the water, but that's my 2 cents. Keep them where they're the best ally for you.
Lucifer turns around and says, this conversation is going much smoother than anticipated. How much time do we have left?
You have probably like 3 minutes left.
He just says, fair enough. Turns back to the prisoner. So, do we have a deal?
We will. You promise?
I promise. If you help me sell this to them today, I promise you we will come back with a fiery vengeance to help you. And we will make sure that with the new leader of this land, that you are treated fairly and are given the rights to the land that you were here first on.
I kind of want to nudge Lucifer and kind of point up to the smoke that's kind of going there to be like, if you want to reference that, just like.
Take a look behind you real quick. That is one of our doings. A bit of the fun that we've had. Not that they know.
It seems to be it's a detail that he takes very kindly to.
Alright.
Lucifer uses thaumaturgy real quick just to say there's more where that came from for his eyes to go bright red for a moment.
His one eye.
His one eye to go bright red for a moment.
I'm so sorry.
You can still do both, even though he's also the natural color in the one eye, right?
Me? I guess. I don't know. Ooh.
See you in front of the king then.
Very well. Turn to the Bollywogs. It is done. Let us go see King Gollop again.
And as the Bullywugs kind of have their spears pointed at the Marrow Shadow Priest, and as you all kind of back away a little bit,
We'll need time to prepare the gazebo.
Fair enough.
Excuse me.
These two will escort you back to the prison cell so you can figure out how to best prepare for battle if it goes to that.
Sleep.
We'll reconvene in 1 hour. It'll take a while to drag this one over to the gazebo, as they're a little bit feisty.
I think you'll find that he'll be much more willing this time around. I've explained that your power and your strength is, as we've noticed firsthand, is not worth fighting against.
And as they look down at the Marrow Shadow Priest, it just kind of like has this not almost like a cowering look, looks like he's putting on an act of like pretending he's very scared of the Bullywog Knights in a show of non-aggressive behavior, so they feel more comfortable with like taking them over there.
He just gives one last minuscule tiny head nod towards him as he turns away.
Okay. So as this happens, the marrow starts to get picked up from the other Bullywog Knights as two knights start to lead you back over the pathway towards those holding cells you were in. As you see three of them kind of grabbing one marrow by the arm, another one by the other arm, still like enchained, kind of like lifting them up. One has the chain, the manacles in their arms. So it's like two knights holding the marrow shadow priest up, and a third one kind of holding the chain. So they're like, make sure they got a good handle on this person. As the Bullywog Knights sort of lead you over to your prison cell, your holding cell that you were in before. You look behind you, you just see the three of them kind of slowly dragging this very large, very heavy set aquatic creature several feet behind you, kind of over the same pathway. So after a couple minutes, the Bullywog Knights kind of lead you back into the holding cell and just go in there. Do whatever you need to prepare for yourselves. We'll come get you. We'll come get you in 1 hour. Just sort of signals you to go back into the prison cell.
Lucifer makes one last eye contact with the Shadow Priest before turning into the cell.
Okay.
Moss face plants. She's out. She's so tired.
Okay. So eventually, as one by one, you kind of go back into the prison cells. The Bullywog Knights kind of wait there as you go into the actual cell with new fresh mangrove roots, like doubled down with like various sort of ropes and metal accompaniments along them to like cinch them so they can't be bent as well as before, trying to sort of fix the problem that Lucy kept doing for the mangrove roots. But as that happens, you are currently hanging inside of the prison cell for about an hour until the knights come and get you. What would you all like to do?
I'm taking a short rest. I don't know if that's like just obvious, but since I didn't know what Lucifer had said, I think now's a time for Lucifer to like let us know what he told the chieftain in Shadow Priest.
I'll sit down with my back to the wall, kind of just prop my head back. Like, what'd you say?
So Lucifer sits crisscross with his back more towards the cell, facing the door outside, so that at least no one can read his lips or anything. And he says, "So, Abby and I agreed that we would try to get the Shadow Priest to work with us. He and his people are among many of those who we've met who had some sense of freedom before Babylona and have had that taken from them. But on the flip side, also were not treated the best under the previous ruler. So he's going to go along with everything the king says today, make it look like he's giving up full power to the king. We're going to make sure that the king and his people leave them be and bring them no harm. If anything, maybe offer them as bodyguards or something. But it is to make sure that once we take over, we eradicate Babylona, that we make sure that for all the people that had any negative treatment before and after, that they're treated better. And maybe we get to come back and have a little bit of more fun with these bollywogs alongside the Marrow people."
You seem to like that part.
He was more than willing.
Good.
So if all goes according to plan, tonight should be peaceful.
Right.
Which is not much like me.
So we just need to get out of here, though.
If this all goes to plan, this puts us in the clear as far as we're aware. I will be prepared, though, if anything is a surprise, to make a dash for our weapons. Hopefully
I kind of want to look at Moss if Moss is asleep and just be like,
just kick her awake.
or just not even that, just let you sleep, but like, I think Moss actually just saved our hide today. Well, he's right there.
Gave us an opportunity to turn to Ebby. Choose the peaceful route for once.
Abby just smiles.
I'm sorry.
At this point,
We'll do it this way.
Go ahead.
You're good. No, we'll do it. We'll do it your way.
Moss kind of stirs because she's just kind of like resting, just finally laying down after being speared and running in a giant dress, trying to diplomatically handle things. She kind of turns her face over on the ground. Quincy, are you okay? You gave up a memory.
Did I?
Did.
Are you scared that you'll never get it back?
What was it?
You mentioned something about it being one that you'd be actually more willing to give up. It wasn't a pleasant one, which I assume you don't remember. But you were quite set on the fact that it was one that you wouldn't be too upset about letting go of.
It was about a year's worth of time.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
What year?
Lucifer and I were away. Ebby, can you remember?
I try my best to remember.
It's okay. I think that's pretty Ebby right there. I think at this point, I'm just kind of like playing with my tail, and just kind of like looking at everyone, just like, we're gonna have to be careful out there, guys. We need to communicate, and if
you've definitely found that we're not invincible.
We're still mortal, but and she just kind of like starts like turning slowly away.
It's like
her and Ebby, if you guys like need to like talk at all, just you have the room. Really starts turning around.
I'm just like, gonna kind of
reaches over and just like pets Moss's head as she turns away. Ebby, I'm
gonna
sorry.
go sit down next to Moss and just kind of fall asleep.
Also, does Ebby need to take any kind of short rest? Lucifer's at full health.
Abby is taking a short rest.
Yeah, so you can just we'll go. You guys can be talking during this hour, but yeah, all of you can on your D&D Beyond sheets. There's a short rest button that you can pick. There's also hit dice that you also have with a short rest. So
just all of mine.
Yeah. So when you click short rest, you have a pool of hit dice. It's like a pool of healing dice, basically, that you can choose to roll during your short rest. I think some of you have a couple of them. Some of you have 2 or 3. It's up to you to determine like how much you want to use them. You can just use like, say if you have a pool of 3, you just roll like 1 hit dice with your short rest, save the other 2 for another short rest later on. Or you can be like, screw it, I'm going to use all 3, and then you regain those after a long rest.
Where do I find short rest?
It'll be at the top in the black bar section. Just
it should be at the top next to long rest and share. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm already at full health, so no. I mean, you know what? I need it though because I used one of my bonus actions before.
Yeah, so short rest can sometimes. There's a lot of abilities that you get back after a short rest. Sometimes you get I don't know if spell slots you get. Sometimes I think it's a long rest, but you do get some things back after that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've become stronger.
Short. It says reset maximum HP changes during this rest. Automatically apply healing with dice result.
Yeah. So that just means like it'll roll your hit dice for you and it'll heal you automatically with the result.
I also have fighter and I have 4 boxes under hit die 1d10 plus 1 total 4.
Yeah, so that's your hit die, but you're already full, so you don't need to heal.
You don't need to do anything. You're good.
But as Moss kind of looks at Ebby and Lucifer with that feeling of some unfinished business that happened with one Agdon Longscarf, just kind of looks at you all and says, we'll give you the room, in this very honest and sincere throw this very honest and sincere way of saying, we'll give you the room, and you're all enclosed in this small cage, and she just goes,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My ears point forward, so it's like half deaf. It's okay.
So as Moss kind of turns around and Quincy tries to find a little patch of ground to get a nap in, the two of you seem to have the room to yourselves if you wanted to hash anything out.
Abby, at Moss's turnaround, and kind of like glares at her, and unwillingly, his little fireflies go and start gnatting at her head.
You need to do this. Can I like try and pick one? It's like, he needs to do this. Toss it back at him.
Lucifer turns to Abby and just says, Abby, I'm sorry. It was dishonorable what I did. And if there was one thing that I could have taken back, it would have been asking for him to, if he withdrew. Because at least then what I did would have been not only what I thought was right, but all of a sudden not going back on my own words.
I don't accept your apology. You killed someone. It's never okay, especially when they give.
I agree with you on that end. I know that our moral compasses are somewhat different. Does not mean it's a bad thing. But I went against my own values of taking someone's word, and that's something that I also do not forgive myself for as of yet.
I wouldn't say the compass is too far. It's just you gifted him death. He didn't deserve death.
I wouldn't even say I gifted it. I kind of forced it upon him. I'm not saying that in a joking manner.
Abby sighs and just kind of looks down a bit with his head tilted down, says he deserved more than just death.
What do you mean by that?
Moss's ears kind of perk up at that.
Evil does not deserve the gift of death.
What would you have had me do?
Nothing on a sense of what you could do. Something we all could have done. We should have all made a decision. He hurt all of us in one way. He hurt more than just one singular thing. It's mountains and troves of treasure that was from families and children that just got completely taken away. Memories, I'm assuming, as well. Happy moments. Remove his happy moments. Leave him with nothing.
Was there a way that we could have done that? I know we've already started to send off some of the treasures back to people who had it taken from them.
Not that I could think of, but in that moment, I would have much rather just pointed that gourd at him and drank him dry.
The only speculation I have, or the question that I have is, if we had run him dry, would he even remember what he was being punished for? Would it be as valuable as you imagined it could have been? Is there a way we could have controlled what we'd taken from him for him to be,
I wouldn't have an answer for that, but I can only hope that it wouldn't give him the peace that he is now having, and the people who are still around are suffering from until they may or may not get their things back.
What we did does not take away the hurt that he caused. What I did does not take away the hurt that he caused. My hope in the moment, instead of delaying and having a group conversation about it, was to keep a momentum on our side and hopefully make an impact to the rest of his people to do better.
Well, they definitely looked shocked.
But regardless, and forgiveness does not need to come now. There's no time limit on when it is not something that is due to me. As I mentioned, I am also still in the process of considering what I did. But I do want you to know that I'm sorry. And that's all that matters to me.
I can at least accept to know that you're sorry. And I know I'm just in a mode right now, but it's just unfortunate that that's what had happened. And look, that tree got destroyed after that. So many come from just useless, unnecessary killing. There could be so many beneficial things. Granted, yes, this thing was psychotic, but it doesn't mean that there is a reason for it to go.
The only other wonder that I have is if we had chosen to make our own way to torture this creature, what would that have looked like to his people?
That's
in comparison to the message that we were trying to convey. And in no way, shape, or form am I questioning any of your ideas. I'm just, I appreciate this moment to be able to talk to you about this because I know in that time I didn't give us the moment.
Things could just have changed entirely in a moment. We will never know what could have happened. We could say ifs, whens, and whats, but once a decision is made and thought through it, you can't fix it, unfortunately. But it seems like as much as I don't want to see a good side through death, the people are changing things for the people around them. And I can only hope that those minor actions in the comparison to the scales somehow make them fair. It may just be my weird version of understanding life and death in its own gargantuanly beautiful way.
Well, I want you to know, as being your friend, being raised somewhere where life was not valued very, very highly whatsoever, that you in many more ways than one have opened my eyes and my heart to look at scenarios and creatures and life differently. And for that, I must say thank you.
As you have shown me other things as well.
Can Voss be sniffling in the corner?
Roll for sniff.
Like how obvious it is. Do I want to roll low?
If you don't want them to notice,
Okay.
this will be like a stealth check.
Okay, so still high. Okay. Stealth check? Can I add stealth stats?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's an 18.
You quietly sniffle in the corner. It's not too obvious.
Do I hear because I'm next to her?
Is my firefly still with her?
Don't be a tattletale.
Right, dude, Firefly just goes,
The rest for Abby and Lucy having this very meaningful conversation, it sounds like maybe Moss has like some allergies or something like that. But you look over at Quincy as you're kind of like right next to Moss. It's a small area. You just kind of look over and see her.
Stupid mangrove trees.
I'm gonna pull my bandana over my eyes and just fall back asleep. Just lay back down.
I don't want to interrupt. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, the two of you?
I think Abby at this point is still pretty quiet in the moment from it. He's more just taking in the words more deeply internally than he is showing it externally when it comes to what Liz was saying. It's just Abby's just being a bit stubborn because he's just really pissed off at the day.
It's been a day. Yeah,
I'll just like
totally fine.
very, very gently places a hand on Abby's shoulder and just gives him a nod and just kind of leans back against the cell doors and closes his eyes for a bit.
As you all accompany Moss and Quincy for your sort of hour rest prep before the events are about to commence, you notice that just this bright red orange hue of sunlight kind of peeking in through some of the holes made in this sort of makeshift prison cell on the walls. And you kind of look out the sort of through this hole, Lucy, as the sun just gets blood red within the mist and the clouds, sort of breaking apart as you can see it just becoming more and more faded as the area is just crimson red and orange all around, kind of giving you a little bit of sense of home, but feeling very, very at peace with that conversation with Ebby.
With Lucifer's eyes closed, he just like grins and says, "You did kick ass out there though, Ebby. Remind me to not get on your bad side."
Abby looks around, it's like, I thought all my sides were fine.
As you say that, and go for your rest for an hour, the rest of you kind of fall asleep. Like that nap, that sort of nap that like you feel a little bit rested, but also it's like some of you are tossing and turning, kind of a little bit nervous of what's going to come. And then Quincy, after about an hour has gone by, you start to hear a very faint voice out in the distance, one that's familiar to you, accompanying with a few heavy footsteps and the clanging of armor. So yeah, I tried to get my head back, but then when I tried my head, I tried to get it back, and then but it fell off, and then Agdon Longscarf, that weirdo, he took my head, and it was not very fun at all. And so I'm trying to get it back, but and you just hear the familiar ramblings of Clabberclaw, this very small scarecrow-like creature with a gourd for a head, crab claws for hands, and a scarecrow hay body. That you had met earlier in the court, who seems to be kind of hanging around, tells this tale of how Agdon stole his real head and replaced it with a gourd, and he's just been trying to get it back ever since, and is just currently residing kind of in Downfall. And you hear this familiar voice approaching up to the cells, and the two guards are kind of accompanying him. The Bullywug guards kind of talk to each other. Apparently, King Gollop wants this thing to give some nourishment to these potential citizens of the court before their big day. Fine, make it quick. The meeting is coming up very soon. When you see the two sort of glaives kind of clang away as this small little scarecrow-like creature comes over with sort of this silver platter of just random snacks, like cube sandwiches with toothpicks in them, various little snacks and eats for you guys to kind of replenish yourselves a little bit before the day comes. Oh my gosh! Huh? You're alive! Oh my god, this is very exciting.
You're alive. Where were you?
Oh, I was, I'll come a little bit closer. And just like waddling over there, with this two little slipper-like feet with pointed toes, slipping up, and looks back and says, "I'm sorry, fellas. I can't give him the food if I can't get in the prison cell. Can someone open the door for me? King God really wants him to have this food, you know." And the guards kind of hear that and go, "Fine." One of them kind of comes in with a keychain ring, makeshift weird lock that's like metal but also overgrown with vines and vegetation. Some sort of arcane make, puts in the key, and the mangroves start to separate from each other, except for the one that's sort of supported by metal that Lucifer broke twice. They all kind of wrap back into themselves, from the ceiling into the ground. Oh, thanks, guys. Much appreciated. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, here you go, guys. I got some snacks for you, big day. Here you go. And just like puts down this sort of tray of cube sandwiches for you guys all just like a snack on and fill your bellies before the event for King Gollop. As the guards say, "Don't be long, Clabbersnaw. We'll be out back." And just doesn't even pay attention to what his real name is and just goes back out to the front.
Has Ebby coughed up that note?
Not yet.
Can Moss, like, from her jury state be like, "Claw!" Like, super excited, but then realize, oh wait, Ebby, you remembered the phrase, right? In front of the king. What happened?
Abby like probably puts his hand up, like reaches into his mouth and pulls out the friggin' note. It's like, here it is.
Just
So you
totally
pull out
forgetting
the
that he
note.
had that in his mouth, like the entire conversation was.
Oh my god.
Just add this sort of gum wad just in the side of their
beak.
bottom jaw that's just there. Oh yeah, and the beak under the tongue just slipped away. You kind of remember.
I don't accept your biology.
You remember that the parchment is in there. You're like, oh shit, and you pull it out of your beak. Then you kind of hit it under your tongue, but it's been in there for a long time, and now the parchment is really droopy, wet. All of the ink is kind of washed away.
I want to take it and do prestidigitation on it and clean it up.
Okay.
So I can.
So it's just this long, soggy piece of wet paper that just comes out of Abby's beak. Like, oh, I forgot it was in there. And Quiz just, with like just a sudden snap of the fingers, like an ethereal hairdryer, just brings it in place, and it just becomes a dry piece of parchment. The lettering, though, didn't quite. It still was faded when it was wet, so it's dry, but the inking is still kind of smeared and a little bit all over the place. Abby, I'll have you make investigation or perception or investigation at disadvantage because the lettering is all kind of smudged.
I have calligrapher's supplies. Would I be able to retrace it?
Do we still have our supplies?
We have
Oh,
supplies.
that's
You don't
right,
have,
sorry.
all your stuff's been taken.
Oh, that would have been good, though.
I'm gonna be eating the food Clabber called Glavis. Make me yum food.
I'm going to be looking through the lettuce and to see if there's another note.
Quincy,
kind of
take the first bite into the sandwich. It appears to be some type of fish sandwich. Has kind of like a halibut sort of piece of meat in the middle of it with cucumber and lettuce, mayonnaise, and that kind of stuff.
You said disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
13.
Nice.
So you look at the paper, and the inking is kind of skewed, kind of smudges over and it runs off in a few places. But you are able to make out the bulk of the message, which says, "Find Illig, the Baron of Muck Stump, at once. The revolution lives!" Exclamation point.
Muck
Oh,
dump?
Yes, Muck Stump. The Baron of Muck Stump, Illig.
find Illig, the Baron of Muck Stump at once. The revolution lives, Abby says out loud.
Crap, we don't know what that is.
I'll find out.
And Clabberclaw kind of, he doesn't have eyebrows in his gourd head. It's kind of looks like a kid jack-o'-lantern type thing with eyes that have been cut out and a smile that kind of bends. But he said, I think I know who that is.
Who is it?
That's the leader of the revolution. That's the bullywug that's been giving everybody so much trouble around here.
Oh, where is he? Or they?
They actually sent me over here to talk to you. I had to go away for a while, you see, to kind of talk to them for a little bit, because they're very, very interested in dethroning the King Gollum guy, and they really don't want to be around anymore. So the thing is, though, you might have gotten on the bad side a little bit, because you had a chance to kill the king and you didn't, but that's okay. They say that's fine. But
we were in a little bit of a problem when we couldn't.
We were doing our best.
Yes. No, I think you guys are doing great. You guys are doing very, very good. Just this little little crab claws and this small figure who's 3.5. I think you guys are doing brilliant. I think you guys are doing very, very good. But they were hoping to meet with you, but you're kind of imprisoned here. You got to go in front of the king a little bit. They had a message that they wanted me to tell you. They know about the marrow, all right, and they know that you're gonna try to work out some sort of treaty, I'm supposed to tell something to the marrow that's supposed to swear fealty to King Gullop.
That is.
I was told not to say that to you.
Okay.
Can you write it down?
Did he
Or-
just say it?
Is it a code word?
If you can't tell it to us, can you tell it to the wall and we'll just listen?
The wall doesn't listen. I tried before to talk to it. It didn't talk back to me. But it's kind of a secret thing. All I'm supposed to tell you, just keeps looking back at the guards to make sure they're listening. All I'm supposed to tell you is that don't worry, and everything's gonna go according to plan.
Okay.
So
So
would you
we
say
just-
that you and the Revolution are allied with the Marrow?
I'd say they're against the Bullywogs more than anything.
Common enemy.
Yeah, I think that's what they meant. So don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be really good. Just don't panic, and the revolution lives.
Do you, by chance, recognize the name Morgort?
Yes, definitely
Has she
met it.
joined the group?
They are also a part of this plan.
Fantastic.
And then they also say, what did they say? They told me to tell you, don't let me deter you from the plan.
I
So
have
just
a
do
question.
what we were going to do.
You
Fantastic.
are gonna keep doing what you're doing, and don't panic, and help is on the way.
Can you do one
Fantastic.
more thing for us?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Can you ask Revolution to give us that balloon?
What balloon? What
The
balloon?
thunder balloon.
Big one with the cloud and the thunder.
Oh, I believe there's a balloon involved.
We want that one.
Maybe
Very much.
maybe we go with what is not to be worried about and then worry about the balloon later.
Oh.
Well,
I
fellas,
really want the balloon.
I understand.
I-
I want my stuff back.
I wasn't really, fellas, I wasn't really put in a position to
You don't worry about it. You don't worry about it.
I-
Don't you worry. You're doing great. You're doing a wonderful job. You're doing fine.
Clabberclaw, as I said before,
Thank
you are wonderful and you did a fantastic job.
We'll worry about the
There.
balloon. We'll worry about the balloon. Don't you worry. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for the sandwiches.
Just very lightly with his big old hand, just like touches Clabberclaw on the top of his head.
Well, thanks, guys. That's very nice of you. I'll just wait outside there. When you finish your sandwiches, I'll escort you over to King Gullop. And
Clabberclaw, would you like a sandwich?
I mean, you could feed me. I'll just go into my gourd head, and I'll just kind of ramble around in there for a while.
Is there any benefit or no?
Some people stick a lot of things in my head for comical relief, but I don't really find it very funny at all.
No, great. No. Also, so excited to help get your head back, buddy.
I just turn back and look. All right. You're doing great.
Also,
Doing great,
team,
buddy.
how are we doing on health? Because I don't want to touch any of the sandwiches until you guys have like had your fill.
Will these actually heal me? Like, that's an extra question.
Is
So
food
after you've
health?
all consumed a couple sandwiches, you can each roll a d4.
Oh, wait, DM question. Can I take the sandwiches and with my chef feet kind of just like rearrange them a little bit and kind of just maybe kind of take the sandwiches
Right.
and make kind of a
Right.
salad with it as well
Did
as
you say
other things?
chef
And
feet?
so I can use my chef feet, and if they eat the food that I prepare, everyone takes a D8 instead of a D4.
Did you
Like,
say
I'm
chef
gonna
feet?
take apart the sandwiches. You said it's fish, and I'm assuming there's probably some lettuce and cucumbers in there. So I'm gonna take it and make kind of a salad out of it, like a larger
So
salad.
I will say, because you don't have any extra ingredients like infused
Right.
more powerfully, there's basically enough nourishment for all four of you to get a d4 of health. But
Mhm.
if you wanted to maybe take those sandwiches and like rearrange some of them to make like a super sandwich, like a triple pattied fish sandwich, then you could sort of take away, sort of, you want to combine 2 sandwiches into one.
I see what you're saying.
Those 2 people won't get a D4, but 1 person would get a D8. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm fully healed, so I make a big sandwich.
I'm only 4 health away from being max.
Oh, and your camera's out there too, Shane.
I'm also already full health, so it wouldn't, like, me eating this would not be a bonus to my health.
That's basically up to Masa and Ebby. Do you want to forego your D4 to make 1 D8 of health?
I'm pretty close to full health. I'm okay to forego it. If I know we don't have our bags or anything, but are we able to like stuff it in our clothing for like?
You certainly could if you'd like to try.
I'm gonna eat it.
So you're gonna eat your D4?
Yeah.
Okay. Quincy, so you want to take your D4 and Moss's D4 and mold it into a triple decker sandwich to give yourself a D8, just to like.
I'm gonna give it to Moss. Give the sandwich to Moss.
Okay. So make me a performance check.
Sure.
To see how well you can sort of arrange the sandwich and pick all the most nutrient parts to make it more of a
15.
Is there any way to cheer for someone doing a performance check to get them a roll?
There would be, but it's all good. With a 15, you're able to kind of take out like the carb parts of the sandwich and just get to like the bare bones of it, and make something very. I will say with that 15 as well, as you're kind of pulling apart the 2 sandwiches, kind of making like a bigger one and kind of wrapping it around as like a sandwich to go with any kind of material you can find. You do notice that the fish part, the sort of halibut steak part, appears to be marrow.
Interesting. Okay. I won't tell her that, so I'll just give it to him. Give it to Moss.
Only he recognizes it?
Yeah.
Okay. Abby's fireflies are now glowing at a brighter color. Just cause.
Baby wings?
I gave my booby wings to Bubba.
It's true.
So where did you just put the sandwich?
In my clothes. I still have like that torn dress. I have that corset. Now it's like a push up my boobs.
Exactly. So you take the double decker sandwich that's like probably like this big, and you're trying to hide a sandwich.
One tit is bigger.
Just lopsided, like one's just up a bit more than the other.
This happens naturally, okay? Right in front of me.
This is what they mean when they're not calm.
My party tit.
Oh no!
Under duress.
All right. So you make a stealth check there, Moss, for placing sandwich in said tit.
Also, Quincy, I realized you said chef feet, like F-E-A-T.
Yeah.
Chef feet, F-E-E-T.
Yes, I did all
I use my chef feet to mold and make the sandwich.
That's why I asked so many times. I'm like,
very talented.
Better knife cuts.
Moss.
oh no.
It was in that one.
No. All right. Well, there goes my sandwich.
To stuff the sandwich into your bosom, and it just starts to fall apart as you're rearranging it, and it just starts to crumble underneath your dress.
I just look at her and I'm like,
fall to the ground in pieces.
I don't have pockets. This'll work.
so you don't like my cooking?
I want to be smothered in it. I love it.
I turn back to Clapperclaw.
Maybe he goes
the sandwich itself is like partially still there. You didn't destroy it.
Just scrape it off.
Like parts of the sandwich and the food are just like all over you. Like it's just like chunks of fish and lettuce and sauce are just like all over your person now. It just looks like you took a sandwich, just like spread it all over your chest.
Liz was just like, you're gonna need a bathe later.
Not in the water outside.
Correct.
If anyone asks, I'm a messy eater.
Moss hates my
Pick the
cooking.
pieces back up and make another sandwich?
Oh no.
Apparently all the things you would need are now gone. You've eaten most of the stuff on the tray, and then Quincy took what was ever left to make that super sandwich. Now it's like partially just like meshed into her clothing. But with that, the guards kind of come. All right.
It's time. Get up. Follow us outside.
Cloud Recall looks back behind you guys. Okay, guys, today's the day, and
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
Yeah. It's okay. We got it. Thank you.
Don't panic. Okay, I'll see you out there. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Sort of waddles out of the prison cell there towards the other guards. As you all kind of start to collect yourselves and begin to accompany the guards out towards the gazebo once more.
Can I take a piece of lettuce with me that's on the ground?
Just a single piece of lettuce?
Single piece of lettuce.
Sure, why not?
Wonderful.
This discarded piece of lettuce that you just put into a side pocket. But eventually, you were all led over back towards the gazebo area. And you'll notice that King Gollop is no longer in the center anymore. Things have been rearranged now for whatever is about to take place. As you sort of step back to gazebo, there are music. There's music being played. Strings and pianos and violins are all just playing like a very raucous sound, very much akin to royalty, as you heard when you first stepped in the gazebo, as crowds of bullywog are sort of coming into the gazebo and hanging out outside, and there's a few select people on the inside. As the knights kind of accompany you, the music starts to play louder and louder as you approach. And as you look on the Roll20 map of the gazebo, you'll see a bunch of pillars surrounding the gazebo. And each of those pillars are affixed to, there's a bunch of chains and manacles affixed in the center of the gazebo. And you can kind of tell that the length from the center of the gazebo to the pillar is about 20 feet. So that sort of outer ring of the pillars, that's kind of like the amount of distance you have if the manacles are kind of clamped onto you. But as you kind of move forward and start to come into the entrance of the gazebo, you can see that the Shadow Priest is there chained to the center of the gazebo here. And King Gollop is kind of looking on at this, his throne kind of moved over to this top ridge of swampland overlooking the whole event, you might say. There is sort of some openings that has been made for him to be able to peer through the gazebo, kind of this makeshift window that's been kind of taken out and pulled over to the side so he can kind of view the fight away from the, harm of battle. As you start to approach, the music starts to quiet down a bit and becomes eerily silent for a minute. And then King Gollop heralds your arrive as this audience of subjects sort of sees you approach. They all start clapping, this very hoity-toity, like hands up, barely patting their amphibious, sweaty palms, as King Gollop is just kind of playing to his subjects, as you're all kind of pushed over into the front of the gazebo, as the marrow chained up stands on its tail, lifted up, just looking all around, doesn't like this cacophony of idiots that he's surrounded by. As King Gollop starts to signal to you all, my friends, loyal subjects of the Soggy Court, we are gathered here today to rectify an injustice that happened in our good lands. These four have betrayed you. They have murdered one of your own, the shop owners of Bauble and Charm. They have ripped them out of this world in an attempt to steal our most precious storm balloon. But we have, in my good judgment as your ruler, rectified
this situation. As you all know, the Marrow have placated our lands for far too long under our loyal followership of Bavlona. And here we have captured their leader, the Shadow Priest of this Marrow tribe. And these four have sworn themselves to the Soggy Court, taken up oaths, renewed themselves, and none of this has happened, but he's just embellishing the whole story. To swear fealty to myself, to your king, Gollop the 19th. And everyone starts to put their palm in hand, and now they have assured me, as my loyal knights have also told me, the conversation was had, and this Shadow Priest has chosen to bend the knee to me, King Gollop and Bavlona Blightstraw, and they shall once again take part in our community. Stop with these attacks on our sovereign, myself, and on to you, the people of the Soggy Court, and plead fealty to the Hourglass Coven. Hey! So, without further ado, you lot, what shall you be addressed by? As King Gollop hails down to the four of you to ask if you as a group have any type of moniker of any kind.
Abby just stay silent.
We had a name, Your Majesty, known as the Monarch 4, but we would take whatever name you deem worthy of us, since we are now your servants.
Uh-huh.
Lucifer knows, like, just randomly starts to itch out of irritation. Straight face.
The Monarch 4.
But seeing as you are the only king here, it would seem imprudent to say such a title.
I quite like the sound of that. The Royal Four, the Monarch Four, the loyal subjects of King Gollop. You will be my true loyal bodyguards and take over my actions as I lay waste to anyone who dares oppress the Soggy Court and the Hourglass Coven. You'll be like my knights in deadly armor, going through the plains of the Feywild and rectifying anything that needs correcting. I like it. I find it.
You are genius. I'm wonderful.
No, stop. You hear that, Snoodle? I'm a genius. It
Well
picks
dressed
up
and
a
well
little
decided.
tiny crocodile and starts petting it. Now, you seem to hold up your end of the bargain. What say you, Shadow Priest? Come to the center of the gazebo and swear fealty to me, to Bavlona, and the Hourglass Coven rule of Prismere.
I look at the priest and just kind of like look at him to Lucy and be like,
How about...
Does he need translation? What does he understand what the Bollywogs are saying?
I was gonna say, how about I call out, he may need a translator. Why not in good faith, we all come to the center and bow in unison before you. And I like nudge Lucifer.
Would that be acceptable, your Highness?
As
Would you prefer this to be a solo bow from him?
Oh.
As you suggest this, was it Moss or Lucy that's asking this of the king?
Moss was asking.
Moss, roll persuasion.
Okay, 13 plus 4, 17.
17.
No!
Natural 20.
Boy.
It's okay. It wasn't like a bad suggestion, but
Yeah.
we can bow together.
This will have to be on his own accord to show his true colors where they may lie.
Then
Now,
let us translate your rule to him. Shout to him. That's fair.
fair enough.
Lucifer nods to the king and turns to the shadow priest and says, in almost like a gruff voice, as if he's like ordering him to, now's your time.
So as you stand on one side of the gazebo here, with a couple guards, bullywog knights behind you, the shadow priest kind of looks at you, looks around at this cacophony of royals and high socialites in the soggy court and everyone here just to look upon this other, like, beneath them creature. And the shadow priest with its long tail, like, bottom half just starts to slowly make their way to the center. And a familiar voice comes from behind you. Wait a minute there. Just one second there. Your lordship. I just have one thing to mention it to the shadow priest there, just for 1 second, if I must. Just 1 second. And it just, Clabberclaw just sort of makes their way over to the priest. This is highly unlikely, Clabberclaw, especially for you being so forward. Make it quick.
He's probably going to talk about his head.
Well, you know, that's a very funny story, because, at one point, by accident...
Talk to him! Talk to him about your head!
Okay, just go. It starts to make their way over to the shadow priest, and Clabberclaw is a small figure compared to this large amphibious monster creature here. Sort of just, what's it supposed to say? What's it? Oh no.
Clabberclaw, no.
Hold on, I almost got it. I believe it was something along the lines of, and you just hear this like dark abyssal language addressing the shadow priest from this tiny little figure with straw body, gourd head, claw, crab-like claws. Lucy, you understand this individual saying, "Come down to me. I have something I have to tell you in secret." And the marrow, just looking down this tiny thing, looks at everybody else, bends its large amphibious body over to Clabberclaw with its fairly bulbous crab claws. Whispers something into the shadow priest's ear. Okay, yeah, we're all good now. Let the show continue on. I'll just go over here and then let you all go to your business. Okay. Just shuffles off to the side of the gazebo.
That was the quickest you've ever told anyone about your head, Clabberclaw. Nope.
And as that happens, the marrow, this large body, starts to have a different demeanor than before.
Oh no.
And the shadow priest swings its head over in a snake-like motion and just gives you a little smile, Lucy.
Lucifer continues to keep it as subtle as possible, like giving just like slight affirmations, but subtle.
He likes you.
As the large leader of the marrow in this area slinks over to the center of the gazebo. Well, now that pleasantries are out of the way, Shadow Priest, what say you? And as the Shadow Priest addresses King Gullop, looks up at him.
Costa,
What is Lucifer and Abby here?
What does he say?
He says to King Gullop, "You are a swine of the most ugly, putrid, disgusting leader of the Bullywogs I have ever heard, and I will not bend the knee to you or to anyone else in these lands."
Lucifer places a hand on Abby just to be like, "I've got this." Lucifer turns to the king. He says that it is understood that the power here lays within your hands and the Foggy Course's throne. Thus, having not a physical knee, he is unsure how to best kneel.
Make a deception at advantage.
That was good. Noggin.
15 plus 3 is 18.
Okay.
18.
Natural 20.
Don't put that energy out there, Shane.
I'm mocking that energy right
Was
now.
you had 15?
Plus 3, which is
18.
my deception plus.
So, with that, well, fair enough.
You can understand
Maybe
the
you
difficulty.
Fair enough. Maybe you should help him out then.
My lord, what do you mean?
Help him bend whatever knee they can. Make them bow.
Lucifer turns to the shadow
Beast.
crazy, confidently, and says, "Instead of kneeling, do you mind offering a half-hearted bow? Just sell it,
Like we discussed before.
like we discussed before."
Please.
And then he says, "Remember what all this is for."
Can we ask him what Clapperclaw told him?
You could.
I can't understand him.
Lucy
I don't
can.
know.
That seems like too large of a mouthful.
Correct.
So, but wait.
Lucifer can gesture to his tail knee and be like, "By the way, what did the little one say?
You could be pretending mime, this is what you're gonna do.
What did the little one say?"
Oh.
As the Shadow Priest looks at you, begins bowing, as the King God goes, "Wonderful! Wonderful!" and stands up as the rest of the court starts to clap. The Shadow Priest puts their head down low. Says to you,
"Cause a distraction."
and goes to scratch at your face. And it's right at that point, everybody, that we're going to take a break. So,
What a fun start.
we're going to take a quick break right there, everybody. We'll just take a quick little 10 minutes here to 5-10 minutes to refresh, drink, stretch the legs, and we will be back to complete the second part of Adventure to Sweet.
Well,
Everybody where, we'll be right back.
Stick around, chat.
Hello, everybody. We are back. We're going to jump right into things right here as the Monarch 4, as they're now known, trying to arrange the Marrow Shadow Priest to bend the knee of fealty to King Gullop in the Soggy Court, was just about to do so until Clapperclaw waddled their way over nervously to the Shadow Priest, whispered something in their ear, and as Lucifer gestured to the Shadow Priest to start bending the knee, the Shadow Priest just bellowed out a bunch of swear words, and you try to cover it up by saying, "He has trouble bending the knee, he's got a fish-like body, it's hard." for you to get a bit closer into the Shadow Priest, for them to then whisper to you and answer to you asking, what did Clapperclaw say to you? He said,
Cause a distraction.
it went in for a swipe, and I need you to roll initiative.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
If I choose to take a swing as part of my plan, how much damage do I take? Or is that only based on what we do rolling wise?
What if it's a performance check instead to see how well you look like you're getting
Because Lucifer like had a sense that the energy was shifting and changing, so he was like changing his perception or his plan. So as soon as he hears cause a distraction, he's like, I'm about to move with him, which is where his plan comes into play. So if I don't want to dodge it, but would it be a performance check if I were to move with it to like feint like I took the full blast of it? Because that's something I want to do after that.
All right, so you want to...
Almost like a stage combat type thing. So like by moving with him...
So him swiping, you want to like pretend like you got hit, but not got hit?
Correct.
All right,
Or something else to happen afterwards.
Make a deception or performance check, up to you.
Okay. Nice, a 15.
15, okay. So as he goes in for a swipe, swings wide, you go, ugh! You just make a big, huge bellow out. Street Fighter style.
Okay, so hang on. I need space to show what I want to do. So Lucifer wants to take this big swinging hit, right? Boom, he rolls over. As he rotates around, looks up real quick at the marrow, like with a glint in his eye, a smile on his face, and shouts back in Abyssal, help me out, won't you? And he goes like all fours, running like Sabretooth towards him, but uses his hands and feet to almost like slip off the weapons to hurl it behind him as he goes to tackle the marrow, and just shoots all of this stuff like back towards him without meaning to.
Okay, so you got a 15 with that check, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So as he goes for a giant swing, you kind of back away, like dodge, like take a step back, and you take that momentum to like leap at him as you're almost like an animal, like a beast, like a lion. You go on all fours to do a lunging attack at him, and you swipe a bunch of the items behind you as they fall.
Like literally as if he's just going with all his momentum to tackle him, not purposefully hitting the weapons, but obviously purposely hitting the weapons.
Okay, so you push them behind you, and the motion that you're doing, it looks like they just got in your way as you leap forward at the marrow. And the items that Quincy had, Moss and Ebby, they all just skitter towards you. As the knights are kind of like, they're all just taken aback as to what happened. And King Gullop stands up and goes, well, it looks like we are gonna get a show tonight, everybody. Everyone's like, yeah! Okay, so roll initiative, Lucy.
Okay.
How far away did the items get between us and whatnot?
I got a 16 on initiative.
16. So they fell like around here, like in front of that first pillar.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so it
they're
was
kinda
very
close
much
to
like I got hit, I'm pissed, try to give the marrow a game on type idea, but also like help me like if I happen to miss any of the items, and then go for the full tackle with him. Like, I see what you're doing, let's do it.
Okay, so you're gonna go for a. Are you trying to hit him or just like pretending to hit him?
No, because of the way that I'm kind of coming out, I'm like full force to like almost play up the, like, okay, this Lucifer guy's like pissed because he's been wanting to fight for so long. This thing swings at him, all plans are out of the thing. He's going all 4-wheel drive to just tackle into him, hoping that with his hands and feet he pushes as much of this stuff to his friends as possible. So he's going full body into this marrow after shouting like, in Abyssal, help me out, would you? To then like say, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm going along with it. Here I come.
Okay. So for the rest of you, your weapons fall just about to there. If you want to rush over to them, That'll put you in initiative. Or you can wait this out, up to you.
Abby sees something and kind of acts instinctively and just goes right ahead. So he does a non-verbal cast of Mage Hand's Invisible Telekinetic. And he summons it in the pile underneath Quincy's bag and lifts it over to bring it towards Quincy, but hiding it in the visible hands.
So the thing is, your hand is as big as a hand. Like Mage Hand is literally the size of my hand.
Yeah.
It can't hide an entire backpack.
Okay, well, it's going to carry the bag over as best as it can then.
So the floating bag with an invisible hand will just start going towards Quincy?
Yes.
Okay. As Lucy, as you rush over to the marrow, suddenly this bag just starts to magically float out of the pile of items and starts going over.
I don't know what it's doing, so I'm going to run to it. I'm thinking it's going to go away. I'm going to run straight in there and grab it. I don't know what Ebby's doing, so I'm going to go in.
The Bullywog Knights all see a floating backpack going towards Quincy. Their spears get put up, their glaives go, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And they all just start pointing them towards you. As this happens, Marrow, as Lucy, as you've kind of leaped over onto the Marrow Shadow Priest and say, "We gotta give him a show then. I see what you're doing. Help me out here." Just looks at you, looks over at your friends as this floating bag is starting to go towards them. And all the Bullywog Knights are like, "What's going on here?" They're all freaking out, like they think you're trying to escape. They're a little confused. There's so much going on. The Marrow Shadow Priest just whispers into your ear, Lucy, "Trust me," as lightning starts to skewer out of their hands. This bright blue flash comes out and they hurl it past your head, and their head goes towards Quincy, Moss, and Ebby as they cast lightning bolt at you.
Done.
I'll just say Lucifer is so into like performing in deception that as soon as he says "trust me," he's like, "Bet." Let's cause chaos.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And this is going to hit Ebby. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Am I able to shield Ebby? Like if I jump...
Do you want to jump into the hit?
I want to save Ebby.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw.
That's normally would be if there's a D20 and outer modifier, right?
Ooh, that's not good. That's a 5.
Unfortunately, don't leap up in time as the streak of lightning comes out.
Ebby!
So, Ebby, you D20 plus the dexterity saving throw modifier. It's up in the top corner there.
7.
Thank God I healed.
All right, so Ebby, you are going to take 8d6 lightning damage.
Oh my gosh.
I'm probably dead. I'm just going to be completely honest.
What?
Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
8d6.
Please roll low.
All right, Ebby, you're going to take 21 points of lightning damage.
Wonderful, I'm not dead. I'm just hurt bad.
Oh.
As this streak of lightning just cracks from their Marrow Shadow Priest, boom! A huge thunderbolt just streaks across you as you're kind of lightly using your mage hand just to pull over the bag. Hits you square center. Your feet flip in the air and you smack right in the back of your head on the porcelain gazebo floor. Ah! Just smoke rising from your plumage of your feathers. And everyone looks around and is just super confused as the marrow slinks over past you, Lucy. Starts to shout out at King Gullop. As you hear them speak in Abyssal, they say, "Let me prove my worth. Let us show you who the true leader of these lands will be. Just like I did to this person, I will lay waste to all your enemies at once." Is busy placating the show of force to let a battle ensue between yourselves and the Shadow Priest.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on,
Eddie
so
can't
I'm
translate
actually.
that. I'm currently. Oh, okay.
I don't know what's happening. I'm running in.
So
Yeah.
Lucifer, like, after listening to him shout, glances at the king, glances at his group, and just like as they're about to like run in, and he just winks with like the slightest grin to them, turns back to the king and says, the Shadow Priest says, let him prove his worth to you by fighting us, and I agree on behalf of my team. And then I turn back to the Shadow Priest.
As you see Quincy and Moss just
That attack? Probably not.
Okay.
Buffering.
That you have to make a dexterity saving throw, and if you succeed, you take half damage.
Oh, okay.
All right, we are back, everyone. Sorry there, the internet just kind of poofed out for a minute. Apologies, but
That lightning bolt was just so so like strong. Just
exactly, just caused chaos through all the connections off Twitch.
exactly.
But we are back. Okay, so with that, everyone, after the big lightning bolt emits from the Shadow Priest Marrow, you all rolled initiative. We're gonna start at the top here with Jennings.
Okay.
With your items are like literally by your feet in the middle of this gazebo as well that you could pick up.
Fantastic. So, first action is to pick up items. Would that have to like take place of my attack as well, or no?
You can say it's a bonus action to pick them up.
Because I did get a short rest, so bonus action. So Lucifer gathers his things. His energies are just through the roof because he loves performing, loves chaos. But the fact that he's doing this as a distraction with this great beast that he would love the challenge of fighting regardless, he puts his two hand axes away, and he just wants to go hands with this thing. He wants to do a running Superman punch towards its face.
All right, so you're just making an unarmed strike?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you deal, if you hit, you deal 1 damage plus your strength modifier.
Cool.
So roll to hit.
Oh no. I think it's a +5, so I got a 6 because I got a natural 1.
Oh!
Which is honestly just funny because it's a supposedly fake fight.
So big thunderbolt claps out of the Shadow Priest, which like hits Abby dead in the chest. You see smoke rising off their plumage. You're like, fuck, man, I thought we were pretending here. And then you just go, fuck it, going for a Superman strike, and their slender body, although massive, just slinks right out of the way, just hit wide and don't make any purchase. But you got your items, you got your hand axes back in there, your rapier, all of that. That was your action bonus action. You could try to move, but he would get an opportunity attack, so unless you just want to stay there.
Oh no, Lucifer wants to stay in close quarters.
All right.
I'm gonna grab
Moss.
this thing.
Oh, you're muted.
Do I know what's going on here?
I did.
I just see my friend nearly get baked as a bird.
Chicken.
Our chicken. And Lucifer's fighting.
I did give you guys like I looked from him to the king, and then you guys with like a grin and a wink, which is not a typical let's F things up type look. It's more of a playtime. I can't, perfectly describe that.
It is intentionally confusing. You see Abby get zapped in the chest. You thought this was one thing, now it's turning to the other, but you just kind of see red and start picking up your items, start running toward the Shadow Priest as Lucy is like, apparently it was a show of force instead of diplomacy, and I agree. And the rest of you are like, fucking fine. So you just start running up, and Lucy kind of looks at the
I'm
friends.
using non-lethal weapons.
Yeah, and you look at your party like running over to the thing. You're like, fuck. And you're like not really sure which way this is supposed to go. But Moss, it's totally up to you.
Okay, well I'm just gonna pick up Ebby's body, because if the chieftain is slithering the way I think he's going, he's heading towards us, isn't he? Or is he just in a fight with Lucifer in the center?
Currently fighting with Lucy at the moment.
Okay, well,
But displayed a show of force against you guys.
I want to stay out of their fight, protect Ebby, and do a perception check to see if anything's moving outside the court.
Okay, so as you kind of move over towards Ebby, their chests smoking on the ground, kind of get in front of Ebby, trying to get them back up. You make a perception check. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
If possible, I want to take them behind this this column, just in case if there's another attack. They're just kind of
take them. Oh, behind there.
Yeah,
okay.
Behind the column. Yep. Great.
Kinda
Okay.
Drag them over. So make me a perception check.
Okay. Roll better, please. 11.
11. Through the gazebo sort of archway entrances, there's a fair amount of them around this location. You start to see bullywogs after the giant crack of lightning bolt. Some of the Soggy Court members start running, just sort of local villagers, shop owners, that kind of thing. Just, like all these bullywogs running out of the fray. A couple of bullywog knights still standing firm. You do start to see a few bullywog knights starting to come out of that castle region that you noticed before, and a couple guards that are nearby are all kind of starting to rush towards the gazebo in response to like something going wrong, but they don't seem to they're just responding to whatever's happening. They're moving in closer.
Yeah, that wasn't really the best perception check. Okay, I think I'm going to just hold a reaction then, because I don't really know what to do and what is favorable in this situation.
Sure.
So I'm holding a reaction.
So you want to hold an action? Well, you used, let's say Dragon Abbey was a free action, bonus action for perception check. I'll let you hold your action. You just got to tell me what's the circumstance. Like, do you want to hold your action until someone comes close to you?
If someone is to attack us, because I think you said that even the guards are confused and they think that we're trying to escape. If they come to attack us, then I want to use my action then.
To hit him. Okay. Done and done. As Moss kind of drags Ebby over, kind of putting out the small little flames that are catching on their plumage on their shirt. Oh, you okay? You're okay? You're like, oh, what the fuck? This place sucks. Abby, it is actually your turn. What would you like to do?
Abby just looks up and is like, why is it always me? He looks around and just sees what's going on. He's really confused. He tries to settle himself up and try and just.
Oh, sorry, your video went out again.
I hate this camera. And so, and he is really disoriented, so he just decides to get up and just kind of move out of the way, but holds on to a reaction just in case something comes at him again. He can't really do anything, but he wants to do a perception check just in his area around him, not too much of a wide, just to see if there's a safe place for him just to quickly get to.
You want to make a perception check to see if there's a safe place to get to?
Yeah, just because he just can't handle another hit of anything.
Well, if you got to like around here, this mound is kind of lifted, so that you could hide behind this sort of, it's like a 5-10 foot drop of like rock that's kind of elevated to this platform, so you can kind of jump off there and take cover.
And how far did my hand get to Quincy yet, carrying the bag?
The bag was kind of being dragged over, then you got shocked, and the bag kind of dropped, but it fell, kind of rolled over to where Quincy was.
Okay, so Abby's just looking. It's like I need to sit, but there's your bag, Quincy. I tried, and he like solemnly tries like slinks to just try and get away down to here.
Okay. So as you said, slink down there. You did get the bag like fairly close to Quincy though. As your connection kind of severed from the hit, it rolled over to him as you kind of like used the momentum to slide it over there. Mm-hmm. But Shane, your video once again is frozen.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry.
I hate this thing.
But you're gonna take cover there. You can actually use that rock to hide if you want, to take cover.
I'm definitely taking cover because if I get hit by anything, I'm gonna be dead. So I just have to be safe at this point.
No problem.
Can I still hold on to an action just in case?
Yeah, what would you like to do?
I just want to hold on to an action in case I need to like get out of the way of something.
Get out of the way.
Like if another thing tries to get shot at me, then
so you'll take the dodge action. That makes hits against you at disadvantage.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay. So when your video comes back, we'll go to Quincy.
All right. So I'm going to grab my bag and I'm still not like Jennings and Evie or Lucifer and Evie might still be on good terms, but I'm still kind of upset at Evie. So I'm just going to look at the bag and be like, you better not have broken anything. I'm going to pick it up, strap it on me, and I'm going to open one of the flaps and out dump a pile of gears, and I'm gonna go ahead and make not Coco, but I'm gonna go ahead and make Jasper.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use my main action to create another Eldritch Cannon, and Jasper here has kind of an arrow tip blunt force spear, and so I'm gonna set him on my wrist, and I'm gonna aim. I'm kind of noticing the way that Lucy and the Marrow are fighting. Also, it's kind of the very bodacious way he's doing it. I'm going to aim past the Marrow and try to hit the bullywug behind the Marrow.
You're going to try to hit the bullywug behind the Marrow?
Yeah, so it's like where I'm aiming here, it's kind of like I'm like right here. I'm going to aim straight ahead past the Marrow and hit the bullywug behind him. Almost like kind of feigning, but like wide enough for them hopefully to do it, but my goal is to hit that bully wall right there.
Okay.
Like, I missed.
Oh no.
All right. First make an attack roll.
Sure. That is a 23.
Ooh. Okay. And then make me a deception roll.
Okay.
Nice. I like this.
That's a 6.
Oh my god. 4 again. Again.
The bullywugs are just so flustered with what's going on. Like,
although you like take this thing bag out, and Abby's like, oh, like hurt from the Marrow, just that random lightning blast out of nowhere. Moss is able to help Abby sort of take cover and get behind the stage. You quickly look into your bag, start pulling out these metal gears and layering them one on top of the other until this like harpoon like machinery kind of comes into view, and you put on your forearm, and you just do this thing where you put it out like you're attacking the Marrow, then you obviously go like a bit of a turn, bam, hits the bullywug right in the chest, falls backward I should say, right onto the stairs of the gazebo, hits hard. And the bullywug knights start to just like, this is just chaos going on. And King Gullup's like, let them fight! Let them fight! Pull them into the center! And the knights just start to like look at each other kind of scared and trying to control the chaos and taking their spears and start to like point them into your direction to kind of start to go more into the center of the fighting ring. But you can definitely roll damage on that guy.
That is a 13 force damage pushback, like you said.
13 damage, okay. And then pushed back how many?
5 feet.
5 feet. So as they just sort of tumbled down those stone steps, breastplate concave from the massive hit that you did. But the king just started loving this. Any court members that are still around after a few kind of ran off, they're like this like blood sport. They're just fucking loving it, clapping together, getting their fill of entertainment for the day. All these twists and turns, the crowd's starting to love it. But after that, do you want to do anything else?
I still have I have a few movement left, so I'm going to go ahead and go 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 here. I think I could do that. And then that way I'm kind of aiming, I'm trying to position myself kind of like a cue ball to kind of hit something else later. So I think that's where I'm going to stay.
Okay. As you kind of position yourself and run over there, Clabberclaw sort of waddles their way over towards Ebby as they kind of go over. Oh my god! Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm sorry. They just needed a distraction. I didn't think it. Reaches under into their like straw-like body and pulls out a health potion. It's like, here you go, my friend. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Oh my goodness.
Eddie looks up and smiles and is like, "Oh, you're so kind. Oh my gosh."
Didn't know that would happen. I'm sorry. I didn't know he would do that. But it's okay. Just please drink this. It'll be okay. I'm so sorry. And just frantically just trying to apologize.
Eddie looks at him and he's like, "It's okay. You did nothing wrong. I don't know what's going on, but I know you had nothing to do with it. But thank you." And Eddie holds his hand out to take the potion.
Okay, so you'll be able to take that potion. As Clabberclaw, you try to using his claws to like dig it out of his straw-like body as pieces of hay fall to the ground, and they're kind of like it's clinging against their rock or their crab hands, claws, and they kind of pincer one of those, stop it out, and go, "Here you go, friend. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry," and just tries to hand it to you, try to force feed it into you. So you can roll 2d4 plus 4 healing for that.
Can I keep this NPC? Please do.
8.
8 total?
8 total.
Okay. So it gives you a little bit of healing in there.
I hit 89. Oh my gosh. I am a god!
As Clabberclaw kind of finishes pouring the glass vial through your beak, there's bits of liquid kind of fall down to the side. It shouldn't be that long now, my friend. It shouldn't be that long now. Just get ready, okay? Just get ready.
Absolutely.
And now it's Clabberclaw's turn. And then we come to the Shadow Priest.
Boy, Clabberclaw's turn. Uh-oh.
So the Shadow is gonna look over at you, Lucy. And as you're kind of like circling each other, just says something like,
"Sorry, that was a bit vicious, but I had to put on a good show."
Whips up the tail, brings up the harpoon that's on the ground with the rope attached to it.
Joe.
And is gonna go for a strike against you with the harpoon.
Sweet. Lucifer's amped.
I think that'll miss. That is a 13.
Yeah, no, AC of 18.
Yeah. So he goes in for a strike with this jagged piece of metal. Goes in for a swing, and you just duck out of the way. And it's reminding you, again, those training sessions with your father all the way down in Avernus. This sort of elation that you get when things are at their hardest, when your back's against the wall, the struggle, the hardship that you face to make something happen. It's just bringing back all of these old memories to you. But with that, that is the Marrow's turn. So we'll come to the top with Lucy.
Sweet. Okay, so he just swung at me?
Yeah. He seems to like actually going in for swings. He's not like fake trying to hit you.
For sure. No, I think Lucifer's kind of aware. because Lucifer already used his bonus action in the previous round, he couldn't react to dodging and then you do a normal attack, right?
Reactions usually happen not on your turn. So if you could have reacted, you could have done that on the Marrow's turn.
The issue, though, being, I suppose, that if I used Hellish Rebuke, that's a pretty powerful, potentially powerful against a water type.
It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do at all.
I know. I'm trying to strategize for potential futures. I'm trying to do Doctor Strange over here.
Long game thinking.
Right. So, all right. So Lucifer dodges that, but while he's still quite low, he's going to pull out one of his hand axes, but make sure he's got it flipped so that it's the blunt backside. And he's going to go ahead and aim for a really heavy shot to what would be his abdomen.
Okay.
So that is a 16 to hit.
That'll just hit.
Oh, cool. And he's got to roll a damage, a 1d6.
1d6, okay.
Where is my 6? Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Ooh. Oh, I didn't want to hurt him that bad. At 11. I really didn't want to hurt him that bad, but
so as he slinks over to you, and he's much taller than you too. Like you're a good 6'1", but this thing is 8 feet tall, fairly stocky and hardy and dense. And he goes in for a swing, and as he goes for the swing, you're able to just dodge. And as you dodge it, you take your hand axe out, flip it over, and swing around and bam, hit him right where the liver shot would be, just to knock him down a peg, just with all of your might, whack right into the rib cage of the marrow. And it goes.
It was the Lucifer goes for the show, right?
Oh.
The rest of you just hear a small crack from that hit in the ribs, and you see the marrow just buckle over. Goes.
And then he goes, "Okay, sorry if that was a little too much."
As the marrow kind of bends down and looks over you, says to you, more. Seems to be enjoying it a little bit.
Lucifer's going to back up like 2 paces, just 2 paces, just the crack his neck and be like, game on.
Okay. After that, we come to Moss.
So
he kind of slinks down to the ground, sort of out of harm's way.
Mosley drags him over, and then she just sees him go back behind the boulders.
Why does this always happen to me?
So the marrow threw a harpoon, right?
I think he just swung with it.
Struck with it, didn't throw it.
Because we're in close proximity.
Okay. Most of my attacks are
close range.
So,
but Evie is safe behind that cover.
Okay. Well, seeing, because Moss knows how tactile her colleagues are, especially Quincy and Lucifer. So seeing Lucifer hold back his punches and Quincy purposely miss a very giant target, I start to understand, oh, okay. So I'm going to take my movement and do an unarmed strike against the marrow.
All right, getting right up in there.
Yes.
Go for it.
If possible, I would like to also jump onto his arm and hold it, and then start clawing and biting at it. I don't know if that is an extra acrobatics check or not.
So 2 things. For flavor, if you want to punch him and scratch his arm, fine. If you want to physically restrain the Shadow Priest, grapple him, that's a check. So you can use your action to attack or use your action to try to grapple and restrain.
I think I just want to make a show of it, so I'm going to try and grapple.
Okay, so that'll be contested strength.
Okay. Okay. That is a 17.
17.
15 plus 2.
Fuck, 16.
Nice. Nice.
Moss is like, ah!
So you see Abby sort of safe, taking some refuge as Clabberclaw like waddles over to them, gives them the health potion. You're like, okay, you're fine for now. You actually like pounce over like the tabaxi you are, and just leap with all of your might onto the marrow as they're fighting with Lucy, and just like grab onto the front part of the marrow, just start scratching all over, and kind of make your way over to their back, and then you just clap your forearms together and just squeeze tight as their arms just start to get encaptured with each other.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so you currently have the marrow restrained.
Nice.
Okay. After that, we will go over to, unless there's a bonus action you want to try to do, but you are restraining him, so it's kind of hard to use both hands at the point.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do I have Fluffy with me?
The ball of yarn.
If you get your stuff back.
I do have. You knocked it over here. I think I actually ran past it. If we're being technical, so I don't have it.
Okay. So the marrow is technically restrained. Speed is 0. Get benefit from any bonus of its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and they have disadvantage. And they also have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So with that all in mind, we come over to Ebby.
Can I, while I'm restraining him, just like for show, like, he's mine, you know, like just making sure that there's no outside influence, because again, I don't want them to like attack him. I see that this is a show, and I want them to keep their distance. Better target practice for Quincy.
Okay, so as the guards are kind of like trying to pull you over to the center, you've got the marrow restrained. You kind of look over to them and be like, get back! I don't know I can hold this thing much longer! Trying to give like a show of like, don't come any closer, like this thing's a wild animal kind of thing.
Yes, please.
All right. So after that, we come to Ebby, but I don't know if Ebby can hear us.
No.
Oh, you can hear us?
I thought you meant I can. Okay. Hi.
It's okay. Your video's just off for now, but that's okay. Maybe Jordy Rose can put Ebby's art in your place at the moment.
Jordy's on it. Got it.
Oh, it's good. So yeah, just tell us what you'd like to do, Ebby.
So Ebby still feeling a little bit better as what he can. He just looks up to judge the situation. He's still out of his mind, so he's trying to watch more at this point before he takes any form of action inside. So at this point, he's still reserving his action to dodge just in case.
To dodge.
He didn't get healed by too much. Like he's still a bit fearful because he doesn't know that the performance is going on.
Right.
So he's just still going to be a little bit weird at this point, and just sit back. Yeah.
Okay. Just
is there who's close by? No, is Quincy that's just close by, right? Okay.
Quincy's a little close. Clabberclaw is right beside you. So there's a couple of guards near you that are kind of like trying to contain this chaos, but a lot of the people watching are really loving it, and King Golp is like egging it on. So they're like subtly trying to push your friends towards the center to keep the show going.
Yeah.
One are looking at each other. One of them still like trying to get up from being shot in the chest.
Okay. So he's gonna Ebby's gonna look down at Clabberclaw and just be like, what is happening? Why, can you tell me anything?
If you would like, you can try to make, if you want to try to yell that to Quincy, you can. You could also try to make an insight check.
Okay.
Into your friends to try to read the situation, to be like, is this an act? Is this for real? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Well, everything just closed on me. I'm having mad issues today.
It's all good, buddy.
Okay.
It happens.
Insight 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you see your friends in this thing. They are fighting. They don't appear to be pulling any punches really, but you see a smile on the Marrow's face, and you also see a weird smile on Lucy's face. There's definitely a chaotic plan happening. There's something going on that you weren't privy to, but you can tell that from Lucy's reaction, the way they're fighting, This is like when, when brothers like have really awful fights and they almost like punch each other's tooth out, but they're like, they're just like, there's this weird aggression mixed with like fun, mixed with like, it's hard to tell. You can tell like there's fighting going on and people are getting hurt, but there's another thing to this that makes you believe like something else is going on here. I don't know what, but like you feel like something else is going on.
Okay. So Abby looks down at Capricorn, like, should I get involved? I don't know if I should get involved. This looks like it's kind of handled.
Oh, well, as far as I know, you could get involved if you want to make the distraction better, but I think the cavalry's about to come through. And you kind of looks over, as I described before, the encircling of Bullywog knights starting to get closer to the gazebo with their spears in hand.
The cavalry's coming. Abby just thinks for a moment and looks down. It's like, where from? Can you tell me where from?
And like as they're getting closer, he just like doesn't want to be heard.
Yeah.
As the something moving around in the gourd, as you see Claw's gourd head just like moving around. You can hear something like like moving around inside, and Claw's just puts their claw up to their jack-o'-lantern mouth to signify shh, and then they kind of just point out, but they're just pointing at all the Bullywug knights that are like coming in.
Okay, and he looks and he's like, He nods and then he's like, okay. So Abby just with what strength he can stands up and starts pushing himself over the rock path to get up closer to where the rest of his group is. He smiles at Capricorn and says, "You're doing amazing."
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Ever since I lost my head out with an Agdon's long gone, no one's ever been able to properly give me any kind of attention, and I really, really, really do appreciate it. You're a very nice person, and I'm very, very sorry that this marrow shocked you. I didn't want that to happen at all. I was hoping that maybe they'd throw a spear or a punch.
Well, I think I'd rather have lightning than be shish kebabbed. So it's all kind of fun.
Perfectly fine. But if you could maybe just, and he starts to look over as the knights are getting closer, if you could possibly move to the center of the gazebo, underneath the light, the window, the light window, the ceiling window, the big window, that would be very much appreciated.
Ooh, absolutely. So Abby waves to him as he jumps over, and can you tap on the screen exactly where it is, the light he wants me to be at?
Like right in the center. So on the dome, so there's like a couple walls enclosing this gazebo. There's a giant window that's been open closer to the ceiling and the roof, so the King Gullop can see inside of the fight that's going on. But sort of where the center dial is, there's kind of like a mirror image above you of like a glass like a glass window in the center of the gazebo dome, if that makes sense. So there's like an encircled, encased glass window in the middle of the ceiling of the gazebo, and he's telling you to like get in the center over there.
Okay, so Abby, instead of walking over, flutters his wings up and flies and moves himself over here, and he's like, "I'm here." And that ends my turn. Without holding a reaction. He's still holding that dodge reaction. He's still scared.
Holding that dodge. Okay. Quincy, as you see the marrow getting restrained by Moss, Lucy having a great time, guards are kind of enclosing, you kind of see through the openings of the gazebo this encircling of knights starting to come in a bit closer to kind of reinforce the area. But Abby just, "I'm here," and just starts to say that they're back and fully okay. What do you want to do?
Okay, well, this is very odd, and I'm very worried about the bullywugs that are coming here, so I'm thinking this is my only chance. So I'm going to go ahead and get in close behind the Morrow here, and through the window, can I see the king? Can I see the king?
Yeah, through like the opening up here, you can see him up there.
I want to firebolt him through that window.
All right, make an attack roll.
You bet I will.
Any deception or just going straight for it?
I'm going straight for it.
Fantastic.
That's a 17.
Oh shit. It hits. Roll damage.
Fireball.
8 fire damage.
8 fire damage, okay. As you're about to get close to the marrow, as your friends are circling it and grabbing it to the ground, take your firebolt of your hand and just whip around. Boom! Perfect shot through the large opening through this observatory-like structure.
I'm so sorry I missed. I'm out of practice. And then I want to take Jasper bonus action. Go ahead.
Were you trying to make it like you were not trying to shoot him? I thought
No, that was sarcastic. I was sarcastic there. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. Bonus action. I'm just gonna follow up and just kind of point Jasper. And
another one. Okay.
Ballista at him. That's a 12 again, so it's a 17 with a +5.
Hits again. Roll damage.
It's 2d8s.
Come on.
3. It's a 7. It's 10 damage. He's pushed back 5 feet.
Okay, so that fireball combined with your metallic structure with the harpoon gun with Jasper hits him dead on, flops over his throne, knocks into his sort of bullywog night guard. Just like a huge screech enters into the fray all around you. Get it off! Get it off! And it's like royal clothes are starting to catch on fire as the guards are starting to pat it out. They've betrayed you too! Kill them! Kill them all! And the marrow! And all of it! I'm sick of this shit! And then the knights start to encircle more as you hear the in sync footsteps and the clattering of armor and spears start coming closer together. And as they start to encircle, you can see them now all around the outer part of the gazebo, those large archways revealing the army that's about to enclose around you as your friends are just as Moss is on top of this marrow trying to restrain it. Lucy's taking pot shots and fighting it. Seems like the gag or the gist or whatever this marrow was attempting to do is over, or is it? As the guards start to enclose, all of you are in the center. You see 2 little claws scrape at the upper part of the gazebo where Evie was. One second. Hold on. The little body starts to waddle over with their crab hands in the air, with their cord bobbing around as straw comes out of their body on the floor. There was something I was supposed to do. Pulls into their straw body this conch that they're able to pull out with their crab claw, puts it to their jack-o'-lantern mouth. How they're able to blow air into it is another thing. For the resistance! And all of the bullywog knights on the end, just groups of them, just bam, start to attack other knights, and there's dissension in the ranks as the resistance has somehow infiltrated into the guards, and they're attacking and stabbing and fighting each other outside of the gazebo. And as this happens, perfect distraction, guys. That one was really solid. You might want to look up for a second. Morgoth, now's the time! And then you hear this. This glass shatters as this brick tied to the end of a rope smashes through the window, and this light starts to appear in the gazebo, shining off of the weather balloon that's hanging up top of the gazebo as the sun is now set and it is becoming nighttime. You look up as this whole area is being illuminated by light all of a sudden, as all of these lighting fixtures just appear out of the night sky as the weather balloon was able to just sneakily in the night just come close over and shine a giant light on everything. Hey!
Perfect.
As the torchlight lighting up the area around the gazebo and where King Gullop was sitting, suddenly gets flushed out by like floodlights, almost like an illuminary light spell, signifying this giant spotlight over the area. As the glass shatters everywhere, there's chaos all over. I believe your ride has arrived. And as you look up, as this rope is going upwards, the marrow speaks abyssal to Clabberclaw.
Took you long enough, little one.
This dark abyssal voice coming in, a little Clabberclaw says, "You did a great job. What a great way to imbue some of the realistic tendencies of your actions. It really made them go along with it for a long, long time." And then it seems like your window of opportunity has arrived. What would you all like to do?
I'm gonna get my stuff first. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let go of the marrow, go grab my stuff, come back, and while doing that, I'm going to unravel Fluffy a little bit and like, if I can, try to like tie it around like a coral reef on the marrow and just be like, the signature of the Monarch 4.
All right.
And I'm in.
So you do all that, and then you try to grab the rope and start trying to climb up it.
Oh,
All right. Make me an athletics check.
Quincy's near me, right?
I'm on the kind of ish, about maybe 10 feet away.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you see the rope going down. You see Morgort very high up top just goes, yoo-hoo, and just waves over to you all. This female bullywog, still ironclad in their armor and has like a scarf around their head and goggles on their bullywog's face, leather gloves on their hands, signaling you to get up, get up, get up. And Moss, you just very swiftly just start climbing up the rope and making your way up towards the balloon there. What are the rest of you doing?
Lucifer turns to the marrow and says, "It was an honor and a pleasure, my friend. Now to make good of the rest of my promise." And he's gonna run over to Quincy. Quincy, would you like to be tossed up to the balloon, or at least high up on the rope?
Throw me.
Fantastic. Lucifer's gonna rush over and throw Quincy as high as he can, so that Quincy has less rope to climb.
All right, Quincy, make an advantage on your athletics check.
All right. 16. So this is 16 plus. That's 16 plus 0. So 16.
So you go back, you kind of bounce off Lucy as Lucy puts a hand up with his knee, a little bit of a hand up, throws you up there, able to grab on, and you start getting up the rope itself. Ebby, I'm gonna assume you fly.
so Ebby, after grabbing his stuff, looks at I can't remember, is the king still like up, able to see us?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ebby looks up to the king and be like, "I'll be back for those feathers," and then he just launches himself up and he goes up towards the balloon.
Nice. Okay. As you soar up to the past the broken window, up the gazebo, with the light spell shining like a spotlight, Lucy, you are the last one there. As the guards are all fighting amongst each other, you see them starting to come closer up to the gazebo as the resistance is kind of enclosed on the upper part of the gazebo here, the upper floor where you're at, as they're trying to back away the guards from getting to you. Go! We'll keep them up for as long as we can!
Lucifer shouts, "Keep putting up the good fight." And he just gets down like a superhero stance and jump as high as he possibly can before grabbing the rope and climbing on.
And you say that to them, keep fighting the good fight as you jump up, make an athletics check.
19, 14 plus 5.
Oh.
19, so with a mighty leap, you grab onto the rope, you start climbing. The tall marrow grabs just the bottom of your pant leg, stares up at you, saying to you, "Don't forget your promise."
Lucifer says, "Going to make good of it right now, my friend." And then it's like, "Best of luck."
In response to that, says to you, "Long live the resistance," as his hand lights up with blue electricity, lets you go, and fires it at the rest of the Bullywog Knights, helping the resistance keep back the enemies at bay. And as you start getting up to the rope, you make it past the window, and you see King Bullywog with a few guards running away to a safer location as the weather balloon starts to drift off as Morgort sees you up. We're getting the fuck out of here!
Jam straight.
Pulls on a huge lever as fire illuminates into the weather balloon, making it float up with a giant sort of captain's wheel at hand. And you just see them like turning it and just start to get out of the vicinity as you see the weather balloon float up and up until it starts hitting into cloud and mist. As you see below you, the leftovers of the resistance and the war raging on, as you hear the battle cries and the muffled sound of weapons clanging against each other, bodies falling. Slowly but surely, you leave the vicinity of the Bullywug court. And the sound of silence and heavy breathing starts to take over as you all pick yourselves up.
Yeah, as we all I just collapse into the bottom of the balloon, and I kind of feel on me, and I grab my bag. I open my bag up and I shove my hand inside there, and I'm rummaging around there, and I grab something, and then my face kind of calms down. I'm like, and I kind of rummage around a little bit more. I pull out the unicorn horn that was in the bag too. This could be useful. I'll put that back in.
Lisa was just gonna joke. So, team, now that we officially have the thunder balloon.
Is it the thunder balloon? It's not
I think it's
This is not the thunder balloon.
Oh, nuts!
This is a normal weather balloon that Morgort acquired.
Users.
That you saw the Bullywogs working on when you're first touring the court. There was two giant toads standing in front of it, and it was kind of like this wooden fixture with a balloon inside and like a repair station. That's the one that they took.
Gotcha.
All right, so then Lucifer then just looks over to Quincy. He's like, so, promise to be back to make sure that everything was fine. Shall we tentatively plan to make a return for that storm balloon, my friend?
We can come back to kill the king.
Ah, fantastic. If they don't do that already by the time we get back.
I hope not.
While they're talking, I reach into my corset and pull out a mangled sandwich and try to give it to Ebby because I know he's hurt.
Ebby looks at the sandwich and then pulls up the little lettuce leaf that's in his pocket and puts it on the sandwich. Tries to eat it.
Yeah,
so unfortunately, with a nat 1, it was mangled from a D8 to a D4. So
Okay.
it's a D4, not a D8.
Okay.
So sorry. I look over at Quincy.
I'm gonna go back.
I got
take
two,
away.
so you know. It's okay. I'm officially at 19.
Good.
Okay.
I'm now just a sneeze throw away from death.
As you hear just this whistle of wind wafting by your ears, as Morgort kind of puts on a flicker of the wrist to silence the light spell cantrip on a few items that are dangling off the weather balloon. As bits of mist and cloud are just passing you by, ever so slightly breaking to reveal a sea of stars and moonlight starting to take hold as you're just gently swafting the breeze. Well, I've seen worse escapes in my time, but as far as escapes go, that one's not too bad.
Yeah, we haven't had a break in a while, so.
Thank you, Morgort.
I tried to get there sooner, but the exchanges you guys made it a little bit harder, but got some word over to Illig and told him that if there was any time to rise up, this would be now.
Will we ever meet a leg?
Perhaps if you return, maybe you will.
I'd like to thank them.
Where are you taking us now?
Yeah, I was actually wondering that as well. As you all look over, and Clapperclaw is just standing there in the box as well. I actually rolled their athletics to see if they would clamp on, and they rolled.
Let's go.
As you all just get surprised from a weirdly stealthy Clapperclaw who's in the corner of the weather balloon box here, the control booth. Just says that, and Moss, you see the Clapperclaw, your eyes just light up, and Morgort and Pickham, his little boots just dangle in the ground. More straw falls out of him.
I want to ask the lady or the Bollywog who's driving, be like, could we take a detour to the Herringongs? Real quick.
You want to go
Agreed.
back to... but I thought you wanted to go to Bravlona's cottage.
Quick detour.
I hold Clapperclaw in her face. We have some unfinished business.
I third that motion.
I mean, the deal's a deal, but if that's what you like, it's going to take a couple hours out of our trip, but...
We'll make it quick. This will be worth it.
Long rest.
Right.
And they turn the ship wheel around, so the balloon starts to drift ever so slightly in a U-turn, and begins going back the way you came. And as you have the cover of clouds and mist at your side, because you're fairly high up at this point, you can't really see the light or any activity down below, but you can just hear faint echoing of battle happening down below the Suggy Court as you drift behind across it once more. Just the smell of smoke kind of wafting into your nostrils as you pass by. This thing is fairly quick, but is a little slow, so it was not going to take 8 hours to get over to Brigand's Toll. That would constitute a long rest, but it takes about a couple hours. So you could have another short rest if you like. But you need a long rest to get back to hit points, I guess, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you had used any abilities or anything, you could replenish those with a short rest. But after a couple hours go by, was there anything you wanted to discuss or talk about, or just go right to it?
I'm gonna kind of just sit down and tinker with things that are in my bag. Specifically, I want to pull out and kind of like, since it's going to be kind of a short rest, I want to artificer infuse a couple needles that I have. And as I'm doing that, they're going to be tattoo needles for the cantrip Disguise Self. So I can do that after an hour. So I'm going to kind of work on that. And then after the hour is done, I have 2 more tattoos on my body to use Disguise Self, once for each.
Okay. So you go down and you're trying to hide the tattoos?
No, I'm very clearly kind of I'm not hiding anything.
Okay.
But I'm still kind of just trying to but I'm also looking at that unicorn horn of like, I know I got it and I know I lost something really important with it, but I'm not sure what I lost with it. But I know that it was, in my mind, it was a reason that I gave something up for this. So I'm just kind of staring at it as I'm kind of like giving myself tattoos and kind of just making that ink flow around my arm. And I think I'm going to make like a unicorn horn, but like it's going to be a unicorn without a horn. One of them, okay. And then another one is probably going to be like 2 kind of like almost a handshake between 2 of those goblin brothers, and kind of on the other side as well.
Okay. So as Clapperclaw kind of notices you kind of going over your tattoos, kind of waddles over to you as everyone's just taking a breath to relax and enjoy just kind of the quietness for a change. Clapperclaw waddles over to you. Excuse me, my friend. I was just wondering, what are those things on your forearm?
My tattoos?
Yes.
They tell a story. It's also part of the magic. Some of it's for fun, but mostly it's a story.
They tell a story? What kind of story? Is it a very nice story? I'd really like to know the story.
Some of them tell really nice stories. Other them tell not so nice stories. More of warnings, I suppose. Like, and I'll point to one that has like two skulls kind of like encircled in kind of a diamond that's almost look like they're on sticks and on spikes, and there's like a fire underneath these skulls. And he's like, this one is from when I was younger, and this one came from when I was chased by some not so nice people. They're not with us anymore, thankfully, thanks to some other nice people, I think.
Moss is just sitting down, right beside Quincy, like beside Clabberclaw, just like attentively listening.
I have a story for you if you ever want to hear it.
Is it about your head?
No.
Okay, you could tell me that one too if you want to, but what's your story?
And the Clabberclaw just kind of like sits down, little legs like sort of flat out, little claws off to the side.
I'm gonna keep working on my tattoos while he just sits there.
Well, once upon a time, there was a scarecrow created by the Granny Nightshade using a tormented child's soul.
Who's Granny Nightshade?
She's one of the leaders of the Hourglass Coven.
Oh, right. There's 3 of them, aren't there?
And one day, this person decided to run away from Granny Nightshade so that it wouldn't have to perform evil tasks for her. But after fleeing thither, this person was waylaid by a bunch of long-eared brigands and stole its head, which the Scarecrow described as a glorious stag skull. And the little Scarecrow desperately wants it back. But is a little self-conscious about its replacement head.
You know, I'd be too if I had a glorious head that was of a stag. Stags represent very many different things. Mostly grand things.
Now the Scarecrow has to live with the gold for a head that has 8 copper coins jingling around inside of it. Clink, 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 clink.
Let's see if we can change that real soon, huh?
Clabberclaw, do you feel tormented?
No, not really. I'm generally pretty positive. I make jokes when I'm nervous or sense of tension is in the air.
That's good. Okay.
Well, I can't promise you we'll find your head, but you've been a big help to us, to me too. We'll see what we can do.
You're the most kind people I've met since I've been in Prismia, and I wanted to make sure that you were safe.
I appreciate that. I should be a little kinder, but I appreciate that.
So where are we going?
Well, we are going to do our very best to help you get back what you've had taken from you.
What's that?
We're going to find your head, silly.
You can't see the eye holes widen from the jack-o'-lantern cut, but the body of Clabberclaw just is still, not vibrating for once, signifying an elation and extreme excitement.
Oh my god, my heart!
I think you're right.
Yeah, that would be very much appreciated if you could find it. I was just kidding about that story. That was actually me, and I'd really much like to have my stag head back if you can find it. That'd be really, really awesome.
We'll see what we can do, Clabberclaw.
Okay.
And if for whatever reason, we can't find the exact one, I promise you we'll find a proper replacement. One that you truthfully like.
So, Clabberclaw, I have a couple questions.
Yes?
You were created by Granny Nightshade?
Yes.
So, do you happen to know where she is? Thither? Hither, thither. Where are we?
We are in Downfall.
We're in Downfall, but there are 3 sections, correct?
Yes. Downfall is in Hither, and Granny Nightshade is in Thither.
Thither, okay.
Yes.
Would you say she's more powerful than Bavlona?
I don't know. I've not met them all together. They're all pretty strong, though.
They're all pretty strong, okay. Any weaknesses that you know of?
Yes, what does Granny Nightshade particularly dislike?
Does she like hard candy? So then she hates soft candy. Got it.
I don't know particularly. I kind of ran away the first chance that I get, and I never looked back since.
You're a smart one. You're a survivor.
Okay. I didn't mean to pry. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Clabberclaw,
Yes.
if you're feeling particularly extra brave, and I don't want you to put you in this spot, but would you be able to lead us to Granny Nightshade? Or point us in a proper direction?
Yes.
You don't have to answer right now. I know it's a big question. Let's find your head first.
Okay. I could point you to the direction. I don't want to go in there though.
No, you wouldn't have to go in. Not at all.
Okay. A clavicle will help.
Okay. That's it. You've done a lot so far, but that would be a really big help.
If Clabberclaw can help his new friends, Clabberclaw would very much like to be of service. Clabberclaw is very tired. Clabberclaw is probably going to have a little bit of a nap before we go over to the long-haired people.
One more question. So sorry. And then you can cuddle with me. Do people age differently in Thither? Like, if we were to go there, do we age any differently? It's just a theory I had.
Age? The Feywild is a very splendid place. It's also a very mysterious place. Sometimes things grow old, things grow young. Sometimes your emotions just pop out of nowhere. It's kind of hard to say sometimes.
Okay.
Long story short, I'm not really sure.
Okay, so at this moment, I share with the group, like, guys, I remember back when we were at the carnival, we went through those Hall of Mirrors before we were shown the portal. I was shown different ages of myself, and as soon as we were told of Bavlona, Granny Thistle, and then I can't remember the third person's name, Granny Thistle, or yeah, Nightshade. Sorry, thank you. I had this just theory that as soon as we went into her territory, we would age, and it was just a hunch. But if there's no certainty behind it, then
I just thought that was a vision.
I don't know, but that's what I saw.
That's interesting.
Now come cuddle with me.
Okay then, ma'am. This waddles over to you as you start to sort of wait for Morgort to take you over to Brigand's Toll. A couple hours go by, wind still wafting past you. Eventually, you hear Morgort just sort of, as you guys are kind of like nodding off. It's getting kind of late into the night. All right, we're here.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to drop you off? On the giant stump down there? Or?
Yeah, just on the stump is fine.
We won't be long.
All right. You see them pulling on some levers to make the flame kind of douse out for a minute as the balloon just slowly starts to sink down. You get closer enough for you to go down the rope onto the top part of the large tree that was once the base of Agdon, Lawn Scarf, and the Herangong Brigade. And as you get closer to the giant tree, the stump, it's night, so it's hard to see. Morgord's like, do you want me to turn on the lights, or do you try to do this sneakily?
No. We don't have anything to worry about here.
Mm-mm. All right. A couple snaps, and all these light cantrips just start to appear off these globules of light, just shine off of the wicker box and off the weather balloon, and you're able to illuminate the whole area underneath. And you're able to see that the big stump, the large 30, 40-foot tree that used to belong as the home base of Agdon is now rotted. That entry point from Lucy's rapier killing Agdon has spread all over the tree, all the way from the top all the way down to the bottom, and it just looks rotted and disturbing.
I'm assuming from what we can see, we don't see are they camped there still? Like, are the
Nobody camped there anymore.
So it's pretty much barren. Even all the pile of all the trinkets and everything, it's all gone? Okay.
You made your mark, and they respected it.
Abby looks over at the decaying tree and just keeps quietly disappointed himself.
Clabberclaw?
Yes.
I kind of want to pick him up and kind of scoot him so he can kind of see over the ledge and kind of look down. It appears that your long-eared friends are not here. I'm sorry. We came back here to try to find your skull because they had a pile of things here. I was assuming we'd be able to come back and look through it and find your head, but we might have to wait a little longer for that. I apologize.
Clabberclaw's gourd head just looking down, and they're kind of still. And they're not saying anything. Their arms kind of go down to their side as you're kind of holding them on the side. That's all right. We gave it a shot, it's it'll be fine. It's okay.
We'll get you your head back. Just might not be right now.
That's perfectly fine. That's okay.
I can't put him back down.
Lucifer takes a second from looking down at the tree stump, still having mixed feelings. Looks down at Clabberclaw because he just... Clabberclaw's like innocence, like brings him out of his own head, and he just says, again, I promise you on this adventure that you join us on, if there's ever something that's shiny or fun that you might take as a switch from what you had before, let us know. We will gladly make sure we procure it for you.
Okay then. I'll definitely let you know.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Morgort?
Yeah?
Apologies. There's nothing for us here.
Don't remember that being that way before.
It wasn't.
Neither do we.
Well, pulls on the lever as the balloon starts to lift back up. Might want to take a blanket, find a comfy spot. It's gonna be a while until we get to Bavlorna's cottage. Whipping the wheel, the ship's wheel, over as the ship starts to raise and make its way back the way it came. By this point, the allotted travel from there going over to Bavlorna's will be considered a long rest. So you can finally rest up with your health and your abilities all back to full.
Wonderful.
Confirmed. Ooh, I like this music.
I think during this long rest, Quincy's just going to really analyze this unicorn horn and kind of just go over it and just see if I can sense anything from it, if it looks odd, if it's got any markings on it, anything. I just really want to know what this is. for what I lost with it. It's just like it's got to be something pretty special.
Okay, make an Arcana check.
Okay. It's not too good. It's only a 12.
12. So as you kind of go over the unicorn horn, you can sense that it is magical. It has a very powerful sense to it. It kind of almost rings in your ears the more you look at it, as this pearlescent shine kind of gleams in the starlight and the moonlight. It has some sort of magical property. Unicorns are very powerful entities, but one without its unicorn, man, like you more wonder like what happened to the unicorn this used to belong to. But again, yeah, you know that this horn has a lot of magical, powerful properties to it, but what it can do, how it can benefit you, you're not quite too sure yet, but you know that it'll probably come in handy for something.
Okay. All right. I'll put it back into my bag in waffles, close it up, and I guess try to find a place to sleep.
Okay. So as you all take your rest for the rest of the night, sleep fairly soundly. The rocking of the balloon back and forth makes it pretty pleasant to sleep. After 8 hours or so, the cracking of sunlight starts to beam on Moss's face as you're kind of held up against the wicker basket holding Clapperclaw like this, like a teddy bear. And as the camera kind of pans in close to Moss's tabaxi furred face, you just see this gleaming, dull orange light kind of move and shine on your face, right into your eyes. And you can kind of feel the heat through your skin and fur that just slowly wakes you as you notice bits of cloud and mist drifting past the wicker basket. As you see Morgort just driving this wheel, you start to see clear sky starting to grow in more colorous hue. As the whistling of the wind still passing you by, you kind of rub your eyes and just gently place Clapperclaw off to the side. And as you take your hands and lift yourself over the basket, if you will direct your attention to the Downfall map, I have revealed the upper part of it, which reveals Bavlorna's cottage and a few other buildings sort of up high amongst the clouds and the mist. As you start to get closer, you see these buildings starting to pop up, almost like mushroom caps, long and skinny roofs of sorts, attached with all kinds of clothing lines affixed to weather balloons and trees and things like that. As Morgort starts to get closer to the cottage, just going in really, really quiet, Morgort kind of signals over to you, Moss. Better wake up the others. We're getting close now. They pull on a lever as the balloon starts to descend down.
I'm on it, and I start to bat everyone in the nose. Hi, we're here. And I go over to Lucifer.
Okay, real quick. So we're looking at the mushroom-shaped buildings in Downfall, right? That's so crazy because it so closely resembles a side view of the map that we were just on.
Which side?
So like when I zoom out, just like the tree that the anchors were attached to hold the prisoner, I look up, there's a tree in the same spot, and I understand there's like these wires.
Yes.
It
appears to have a same sort of
layout
feel to it.
Interesting.
Wild, because even the storm balloon, unless they have their own storm balloon.
There's the tilted place where
gazebo.
Gazebo.
There's the building on fire.
Wild. Just noticing something.
And it looks like there's heads of bullywugs.
Seems pretty matchy.
So as the balloon starts to descend over, you can tell at the top of Bavlorna's cottage is peeking into the clouds, signifying that it must be like the third or second floor of a larger building. And yes, you do notice that those clotheslines that were kind of draped in the center of the Bullywog Soggy Court also seems to be representing the same sort of a fixed line as you see those clothing lines going towards Bavlona's cottage. And you also see a weather balloon tied into one side, and you also see a building just alleviating from fire as smoke's drifting up into the clouds, into the air, like a fire had just been put out. Does, Lucy, you sort of see that, and it does look eerily similar to the layout of the Soggy Court.
That's
Can I do
disturbing.
A perception check to see if it's an illusion.
Go for it.
Can Lucifer just straight up ask Morgort if there's any relevance to the similarities?
You might have better luck with that. I got an 8.
An 8.
Guys, we're back in the Soggy Court.
As you look over and you ask Morgort, like, this layout looks really similar to the Soggy Court. Is there any connection? As Morgort sort of driving the balloon down below. Well, there's rumors that the two might be connected, that the Soggy Court and Bavlona's cottage are somehow connected. I've never found the connection myself, but there are many rumors and ways in how Bavlona can communicate with the Denzians of the Soggy Court, and some believe that there may be some otherworldly passage between the two that some of us aren't aware of.
Intriguing.
Center of the lake.
Perhaps.
It was the
That's
one
what I
part
wondered
that we-
about the first time we saw the map.
Exactly.
I was like, what's that tube in the... Oh my god, wow.
Looks like staircases.
Intriguing.
Perplexing.
Curious. Absolutely curious.
All right, so as you start to get over those clouds and get closer to the roof of Bavlorna's cottage, you start to see the balloon starting to lower down. I'm trying to find a way for you to kind of get past but not get seen necessarily. As Morgan says, all right, this is your time. Start to lower yourselves down the rope. There's a balcony near Bavlona's cottage I can settle you on. She has some frogs that are kind of like alarms for her. If you could be quiet about it, they might still be sleeping. That's all I can do at this point for you.
You've done plenty. Thank you, Morgort.
Thank you very much,
Will you be on standby, or are we on our own from here on out?
I can't stay around here for long. The Hourglass Coven will discover me, and then I'll be in real shit. I'm gonna go back and help the Resistance take over for a certain King Gullop.
Well, make sure that Thunder Balloon is ours by the end of it.
Duly noted.
Yep.
And I'll just say to you before you go, good luck freeing Prismir, and may Sibilna rise again, and death to the Hourglass Coven.
We will do what we absolutely can.
And as the balloon sort of glides down, it's still fairly above the rooftop, with the clouds sort of covering the lower parts of the grounds here. But the rope gets thrown overboard, and it falls, breaks through the clouds. The puff of smoke kind of emulates, poofs out in all directions as it goes down below. Morgort just points over. Good luck. Waits for you to climb down the rope.
I'll go first.
You help.
Can I also have, I guess maybe I should say this before I go down. Can I have Jasper ready? Kind of just like attached to my arm kind of thing before I go down?
Okay. So you kind of fix it along your forearm there, ready to go.
Lucifer takes the opportunity before Mars Cannon picks up Clavicon, puts him over his behind his neck, so he can hold on to my horns.
Okay. Just to your aware, I have claws for hands, so I might scrape your horns just a little bit if that's all right with you.
And thank you for telling me about the horns on your hands. I have very, 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 very dense horns that already have many battle scars, so do not be. I would be welcoming to your scratches, my friend.
That's very kind of you. Okay. And just sort of clamps on, clank, onto your horn. All right, so
I give like a side eye to Lucifer, just like,
stole Clabberclaw from me. Okay, whatever.
Welcome back.
All right.
We're gonna have a custody battle.
I know.
I'll have, I believe, Abby, you'll float down, flying. So the three of you roll athletics check to climb down the rope.
Athletics. Oh, I'm not good at
I
these.
hope you don't get a nat 1 in float.
Oh, that would be good.
Don't jinx us like that.
Oh,
Ah! Okay.
Well,
Can
hang
we
on.
do a saving grab for him?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So I rolled a. Wait. I rolled a 24, so should Lucifer go first?
Oh gosh. No, I said I went first. I said I went down.
Okay.
That's okay. The rest of you just like, you're kind of busy talking to Clabberclaw there, and Moss, as you're kind of just enamored with Clabberclaw as they're having this conversation. Quincy just, okay. Kind of jumps over the weather balloon box, but like kind of oversteps it and just like misses the rope completely.
Holy dang.
Can I reach for him?
He's already fallen, but with Ebby, I'm gonna have Ebby, you can jump out of the box and swoop down to try to grab Quincy. So Quincy, how do you make a dexterity saving throw to try to grab Ebby's hand?
15.
15. Okay. Ebby, make a strength check.
Is there anything else I have to do at all? Like, do I have a
D20 plus your strength modifier.
13.
13. Quincy, you just miss it completely, and you start falling. And Abby, you just barely a word. You just jump out and just make this missile-like dive as you just start falling in line with Quincy. It's like, oh! You kind of turn your wing, you flap out your peacock wings in this very lovely, colorful array as you're able to just slow your momentum to turn, catch Quincy, and then wrap your wings around the rope, get a bit of rope burn, but you're able to stop with both of you on it.
Wonderful.
And then one last thing, I'm gonna have the two of you roll a stealth check.
Okay.
From all that commotion.
Oof.
15 again.
Okay.
13 plus 2.
12.
So you kind of, the little bit of your bodies kind of hang each other and a couple of grunts, and then your wings kind of grasping on the rope. But you wait a minute. And it feels like you don't hear any voices. Looks like no one caught that. So you think you're in the But with the two of you on the rope right now, Moss and Lucy, did you roll athletics?
24.
24?
I
Moss.
got a 7.
Moss.
So
Ropes are our doors.
2 plus 5, okay?
as you go down, Lucy, first, to start to put yourself down on the rope, Clabberclaw holding on to your hands, the moss, you're kind of looking over, and the height is fairly large going into the mist, but there's been some condensation on the rope that's just been hanging there amongst the clouds. You kind of put your feet and hands on it, and you just start to you just slip right away, and you start to drift down towards Lucy and Clabberclaw. And Clabberclaw goes, "Oh no, a friend!" and links its legs around your horns, Lucy, as Clabberclaw reaches out for his claws. "Quick, help! Bring down to me, friend!" Make a dexterity saving throw.
Sweetie, oh my god.
Should I roll like a strength check or something just to be able to?
Yeah.
That's a 21.
21. Lucy will make a strength check to see if they can hold on to the rope as Clabberclaw's like, "Oh no, a friend! Clabberclaw to me!"
I love him. 10 plus 5, 15.
15. So, Jackie, you are going to take 2 points of slashing damage as the claws grapple your forearms and they kind of scrape against your skin as Clabberclaw kind of is like their back is along Lucy's back of head as their claws grabbed you, and you're just hanging there so the straw legs are starting to give. And
Oh no.
I don't know how much longer I can hold this. They're able to just like let go of his claws and grab onto the rope and like.
How far down the rope are we?
You're just at the start. You haven't even begun to like go down yet. You've gone down a couple feet.
I got an 18, so am I able to just kind of like swing on Clabberclaw and then get onto the rope?
Yeah,
Cool.
you're able to get back on the rope now. So, oh my god.
Okay.
Failed.
You jinxed us.
I did. That was my bad.
That was hardcore.
So as you guys are finally on the rope, secure, start to slowly just make your way down.
So whispers to Clabberclaw, "You saved your ass. You saved her ass. You're a hero, buddy."
I thought I saved her arms.
That you did.
You
Oh,
saved
man.
both. My ass and my arms. I appreciate it.
You're very much welcome. My ass is made of straw.
Lucifer looks down to Moss and just is like, "I know he will absolutely let you live that down. I won't."
He'll forget once we mention his head.
And as you start to make your way down the rope past the mist and cloud to the lower levels, the rope beginning to drift you down to a lower balcony that I'm going to reveal to you.
Ooh.
On the left side of our map here.
Oh. Like magic.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, look at that little crow thing.
The maps on for Wild Beyond the Witchlight is gorgeous.
Yeah, they did an excellent job making in-game maps. Like you could just print this out like at home. And
Yeah, as a poster. Yeah, gorgeous.
Did you guys see the speared frog head in the top left of Downfall?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy
When
cool.
we first started doing this campaign, I thought you took the time to draw all this.
Mm-hmm.
I wish. You know, at one point if Dicecream Sandwich is like doing real good, I will make my own maps and hire artists to draw them.
Nice.
So you do see this balcony here that the rope is kind of dangling down towards. And at the end of the rope, there's like a good 15, 20 foot drop.
Goodness gracious.
But you do see a few normal frogs, like normal looking frogs, perched on the balcony railing here. There's like about like 8 or so of them. They appear to be sleeping. Just hear them like croaking very silently. But that appears to be your entryway into the bottom floor of the cottage.
Can Lucifer look up to our pilot and just like do like a thumbs down, like a sign of like a little bit lower?
Well, they're blocked by the clouds. Like you've gone through the cloud cover down there, so that's about all you have.
So we're gonna have to jump.
Moss, I anticipate better for me this time.
Shut up.
I'm always better on the feet, right?
I'm gonna get down as far as I can, and I guess I'm gonna try to jump, make a safe landing.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Do I have any cool feet?
All right. Make an athletics check and then a stealth check.
Yep. All right. Athletics is a 3. Stealth is a 2. This could be great.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So as Quincy has started to go down, like, okay, I think I can do this. The rest of you just hear this pain elate out, and then
Oh no.
That's why I was like, maybe Lucifer should go first.
this 10-foot wide balcony runs almost the length of the cottage and is covered from end to end with living frogs. At each end of the balcony, attached to one corner of the cottage, just beyond easy reach, is a clothing line draped with patchwork garments. The two lines stretch out over the lake and disappear into thick fog. And as soon as you smack onto that ground, all of a sudden, all of the frogs just go ribbit, 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 ribbit.
It's your thunder thing.
Ribbit, 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 ribbit.
Do something about them.
Can I go to the edge and kind of like push him off?
Don't knock him off. Just scurry and knock him off at this point.
All right. Make me a dex check to see how quickly you can throw them all off the balcony.
It's a natural one.
You smack and hit your shoulder onto the balcony. Like, ribbit, 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 Your friend's hanging on ropes, like, shut him up, You get up, you step on a frog and slip and fuck! Ribbit, 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 ribbit. And like the croaking is loud and is everywhere. And with the croaking echoing around Bavlorna's cottage, this massive building on stilts into the swamp water below. It's here, everyone. So we're gonna end the stream.
Yay!
What a great point to end.
I hate this so much.
Out of the frying pan and into the fucking fire with you guys.
Throw your D20 in like a moonlight.
This was a horrible one. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna sage that. Oh my word.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. All I can say, everybody, is wow.
We didn't die yet.
Just imagine my screen is just a smiling face right now.
It is. Cheide, I'm so sorry you were having video troubles, my friend. But that'll be it for us on another awesomely chaotic session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Thank you all so much for joining us on our 9th session. We really do appreciate it. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for supporting all the shows we do here on the Dicecream Twitch channel. Join us next week for a returning episode of Beyond the Realms, my homebrew campaign in its final arc. We're doing a cliffhanger part 2 to an insane battle of the parties that are getting very close to the end goal of the campaign. So that's really exciting. And then you can catch this stream 2 weeks from today, bi-weekly stream on not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that. Same time, the 8th of March, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. Thank you to my wonderful players once again for fucking going for it. We did a lot. We did a little bit of everything this session, and I think that was awesome. But yeah, everyone. And once again, thank you to Quincy and Jackie and Shays Aiden for coming down to D&D in a castle. I think I just saw that we had one more seat taken, so now there's only a couple seats.
Good.
So cheers to you all for getting involved. We're so stoked to be running this event. And like we said before, if you have the funds, we know not everyone can afford it, but if you have the savings and you want to get involved in a crazy getaway in the UK and play D&D with us, look at the link at the bio. But until then, everyone, stay safe, wash your hands, roll high. Bye-bye.
Bye.